Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of Leos Labs. Henry, Shadow, hey, thanks for being here. And anyone else who might be lurking in chat, hey, thanks for coming in. Let me do one thing. I just realized the lighting is kind of off. Let me fix that really quick, and then we'll get started. Okay, so before getting started, you can tell from the stream title that I'm particularly excited about something that I really shouldn't be excited about, because honestly, pretty much everyone on stream universally hated this one thing, and that is the swoleios workout program. It's back. Okay, so for those of you guys who may not have been here, hey Amaris, how are you? A while ago, we created a workout routine. Basically, every hour, on the top of the hour, I would spend 5 minutes doing a very simple workout. Usually like, a few back bends, which are called good mornings, which is the next set, and a few push-ups, basically one push-up for every compilation error I got. Now, the reason I did this was for two reasons. One, quite frankly, doing a little bit of physical activity is incredibly helpful for keeping me focused and motivated and just kind of working on things and not rambling about like things that don't matter and stuff like that. It helped me really focus the stream, and it helped me do longer, more interactive streams. Now, it was also a way for people to spend channel points. I have not allowed people to spend channel points, at least for this week, because frankly, I think that pretty much all of the swoleios workout program bits and pieces, like all of the exercises, are a little bit too difficult for me to do right now. So even if it says I'm going to do 110 good mornings in just a second, might actually be not that many. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't have my watch on me, which I meant to grab, but I started a little bit late today because I was getting everything set up. Actually, I completely forgot where my camera was for the second screen when we switched to workout mode. Lots of little things that I had to do. But anyway, that's not particularly related to what we're doing now. Sorry. Sorry about that. I don't know why I'm pulling up Ask Aquarium now. I should have had it up a second ago. Let me get some water. And I actually want to spend a little bit of time kind of fleshing out what we're going to be working on in the near future, kind of where the histogramming and all this kind of stuff kind of builds itself up in an academic sense, so that we get an idea of kind of how long it's going to take to finish this project. I didn't want to spend the whole last week focusing on kernel abstractions, but that's what happened, and that this kind of stuff always happens when it comes to research. So let me go ahead and open up a new terminal, type in Zernal pp, and let's just talk for a second about what we have for timelines and what we expect to happen in the next few weeks. As you guys know, today is October 26th. Okay, so 1 second. Let me double check. Perfect. As you guys know, today is October 26th. I have a very long way to go before finishing this project. And actually, I've got a bunch of questions I want to ask you guys to see if I don't know, like, what's interesting to you and what's not interesting to you. So let's go ahead and talk about the projects that we have to do to finish up kind of what I'm working on right now. So the big thing that, we're working on is becoming a fractal. We've talked about this a bunch. The idea here is that we're going to be using the fractal flame algorithm and various other techniques with iterated function systems in order to basically recreate any image. This is a process known as fractal compression, and I think we can do better than the currently existing methods, right? So to do this, we actually have to go through a bunch of different sub-points. One is going to be creating a fast histogram method on the GPU. All right, that's one. That's what we're working on today. Two, creating a parallel iterated function system. This just means a parallel way to solve fractals and stuff like that. Three, we need to then worry about the compression steps. So this means some form of AI / machine learning / reinforcement learning, we need some form of AI, machine learning, reinforcement learning to encode the images. And 4, we actually have a lot of testing to do. And transforming a video into fractal code. Okay, so these are kind of the 4 rough, like super rough points that we have to kind of tackle before we finish up the Becoming a Fractal project, right? Now, this will hopefully at the end come with a few, what is that? For Pete's sake, I get so much spam on my email. It's kind of a pain. This will hopefully come with a few different papers, and this is something that I also want to talk about. So papers. So what is it going to come with? Papers, videos, and then we're also going to talk about algorithm archive chapters. Okay, so algorithm archive chapters, we already have a few of them created. So pre-existing ones would be iterative function systems, Barnsley-Fern, stuff like this. But also we're going to have to do another one for the fractal flame. Maybe one for AI, I'm not really sure, but maybe one for machine learning, depending on how much time we have, or genetic algorithms, which I still need to create, even though we have a video on it, all that kind of stuff. So we have a bunch of algorithm archive chapters coming out. The next thing I want to talk about are videos, and this is where I kind of want to get, feedback from you guys. I'm not really sure if this is particularly useful or not. I've been reading a Homestuck fanfic. Oh, hello. I guess Homestuck didn't keep your attention for as long as it could have, but that's okay, Or maybe you finished Homestuck and are now desperately wanting more, so you're reading the fanfic for it. Okay, so for videos, I kind of just wanted one video, which is just going to be entitled, This is a Fractal, and it's just going to be an image of me, or like something like me here, of like, I don't know, here I am, and here's like, I don't know, sunset and a beach, or something. I don't know, like something that clearly isn't a fractal, and it's just gonna say this is a fractal, and the video will just be talking about fractal compression and all this kind of stuff. I'm just also reading fanfic in addition to the other stuff. Oh, interesting. So it is weird to me, like, because my hobby is doing everything apparently. Well, right. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. I mean, you always have something interesting going on whenever you come to stream, Okay. Now, the truth is, I could do a second video, right, on, I don't know, like the world's fastest fractal generator. Generator, or maybe histogramming on GPUs. I mean, is that stuff interesting for you guys? I mean, obviously, if you're here, you're going to be somewhat biased in that, like, clearly this stuff isn't that boring for you because you're here. But the question is, do they make compelling YouTube content? My gut answer is no, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about that as well. And then finally, the next thing I want to talk about are the papers. I had originally envisioned 2 or 3 papers out of this. So the first paper would be one from the Journal of Open Source Software, which is going to be related to just the Flamify package, which is the fractal Flamify, basically turning any image into a fractal. Hey, Deep Singularity, how are you? The second paper, though I haven't quite figured out what the title is going to be, is something like Enhanced Fractal Compression for HD Video, or something like this. These were the papers I was thinking about putting out for this particular topic. Again, we're running into this weird thing where, like, I want each of the videos that I put out to be, like, interesting. I want it to be like, hey, this is something new that no one's ever done before. And I feel like the easiest way to do that, not the easiest, but the best way to do that is just to show people new, novel, boundary pushing research. And to do that, you have to, publish a paper or do something interesting each time. So let me change this to magenta or something. And so I really do feel I want to have papers being published. And the reason for that is not only because I feel like we want something interesting, but also, I mean, I'm kind of gambling a bit this upcoming year, focusing on Leos Labs, when in actuality, probably that project is going to fail. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Doing a Twitch stream, putting a video out every other month, like, frankly, it's not going to do super well. And so because of that, I really do need to kind of resync my publication record so that it is more in line with my own interests, in the case that I do want to focus on academia and stuff afterwards. I want to at least have published a few papers so people will look at it and be like, okay, at least he has papers in the area that he's interested in, right? My problem with MIT was that, frankly, I liked working with some of the people at MIT. I really did. I also liked working with, actually, no, I liked working with most of the people. It's just, I cared so little about the physics. And it was, at its heart, a physics simulation. And so I just want to make sure that next time I give it a go, I'm not going to be focusing on physics. Again, I'm not focusing on bio or chem. I'm focusing on the computational science. And in particular, I would love to work on, algorithm design, stuff like this. It's hard to find academic positions for this, but at the same time, it's stuff that I'd like to focus on. So I need to kind of move my publication record so it's more in line with that. So while I was thinking about this today, I actually was thinking about the Journal of Open Source Software. So for those of you guys who don't know, the Journal of Open Source Software is essentially just a way for people to publish research software. So I've done it before for GPUE, the gross P-Yaski equation solver on GPUs, which was what I did for my PhD. It's nice. It allows for you to publish papers, but also write software. So you can do research software. And it's a good middle ground for that type of stuff. I have been thinking, and I don't know if this is a good idea either, but I have been thinking maybe I just put the enhanced fractal compression for HD video in my Journal of Open Source Software paper, put the methodology into that paper. This isn't typically the way it's done because the Journal of Open Source Software is specifically meant for software. It's not meant for methodology as well. But the Journal of Open Source Software is 100% open. It's open access. It's all available on GitHub. There's something really nice about that. And with that in mind, I kind of feel like, look, I mean, if I'm going to do this, open research laboratory, I should use the most open tools at my disposal. And one of those is the Journal of Open Source Software. So I wanted to start today's stream actually by looking at the forward citation of papers related to the one that I want to publish here. And just kind of look to see where people are actually publishing this stuff. A lot of times, I just find papers around and I don't really think about where it's being published. But I think it's really important to look at these papers and to see, hey, are these being published in open access journals? This type of stuff. So I'm going to do that and we're just going to see where it goes. Again, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, anything like that, feel free to let me know. And I'll totally address it as soon as I see it in chat. I'm going to change the name of the stream right now to be more in line with what we're actually doing. I had it that way. I had it to the return of swoleios for people who were getting notifications and stuff. So now I'm going to change it back to I guess just I don't know what to call it, but maybe computational science research or we'll just do becoming a fractal. Fractal compression, and we'll just do fractal compression research. That'll work. There we go. Okay. I guess before getting any further, I do want to talk about one thing, and that is the discussion I had yesterday and the day before. I don't know why this has taken so much of my time. I just want to, put a nail in the coffin and just say I'm not going to talk about this anymore. And that's the whole Linux and Windows and all this kind of stuff. I made the argument yesterday. I'm going to make the argument again. I think the reason it keeps coming up is that, for me, using Linux is second nature, right? For me, the operating system that I use is fundamental to how I do anything, right? And so when I try to do things on Windows, I try to do things on Mac, it feels so slow and sluggish and difficult. Whereas Linux is simple. It just works for me, right? And that's just not true for other operating systems. So to put, just a final nail in that coffin, so we don't talk about it anymore, my personal opinion is that, it doesn't matter what operating system you use. I really don't care if you use Windows. I don't care if you use Mac. But the fact is, I'm going to advocate for things that I like, and I like Linux. And, the reason I advocate for Linux is the same reason I advocate for my favorite TV show, or the same reason I advocate for, my favorite food. It's like, man, have you tried watermelon yet? It's amazing. It's the same thing. Have you tried Linux yet? It's amazing. It's not like I'm sitting here and being like, wow, Linux is going to solve all your problems. It's way better than Windows. It's way better than Mac. That's not exactly why, I push for it. I push for it because I genuinely love the operating system and I want more people to use it. And so, this video idea that I was thinking about doing of, Linux user tries Windows for the first time in 15 years, that's not in line with that. That video would be more, pulling Windows down instead of building Linux up, if that makes sense. What I want to see is just more open source software. I don't want to see people fighting about what the best operating system is, because that's completely beside the point. The point is just to write better code, you know? How many times have you had this discussion? Just twice, I think. It's just that your use case, Linux, is easier for you to use. Right, I mean, that's exactly the point. I think I just had this discussion yesterday and the day before. I just wanted to make this clear and just say I just don't want to talk about it too much more. And that's just, that's where it is. I'm sorry, something came up today as well, dealing with like Linus Tech Tips review of Linux, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm just tired of talking about it at this point. And I'm still talking about it, even though I just said I'm tired of talking about it. Anyway, let's just keep going. All right, we're gonna go to forward citations. In fact, the first thing I'm gonna do is open up Discord. Now, before I do that, please put on your sunglasses. I understand some people have very sensitive eyes. I have sensitive eyes. I can't go outside during the day at all because, my eyes will just explode. I have literally the most sensitive eyes of anybody that I know. I have to wear sunglasses when a lamp is on. With that said, I do use a light theme for Discord. So if you have to put sunglasses on, please put them on now. All right. We're going to go to Paperpile, and I'm going to take a look at this guy. Copy link. Ray-Ban sponsorship incoming. Oh man, I wish. All right, we're going to go here. Paste. All right. Right, so this was the forward citations for efficient histogram algorithms for NVIDIA CUDA capable devices. This is not necessarily, where, like, the reason I'm looking at this is I'm trying to see what journals people are publishing under. And the reason I want to see that is because I'm kind of trying to figure out whether it makes sense, whether those journals are open access, for one. A lot of them are not, and I know that. But two, whether it makes sense for me just to put everything in my Journal of Open Source Software paper or not. Again, I'm not saying that the Journal of Open Source Software is the best way to do this, but I am saying that I don't actually know how the how the world of computer science actually does publications and stuff. Let's do cited by 144 here. Like, for example, this one's cited by 436, but it's medical images and analysis, right? This is IEEE signal processing, so this might be somewhere that, like, we could publish, for example. Cited by 254, survey of medical image registration on multi-core and GPU. Actually, when it comes to citations, like, it really gets me how different fields are, Like, for biology, having an impact factor of like 30, which means like 30 citations per paper, is like, it's a lot, but also like it's manageable. Meanwhile, in physics, having like an impact factor of 7, which means like 7 citations per paper, is actually like remarkably high. Like it's one of those things. It's so weird. And so anyway, I'm just kind of looking to see what we have here. So again, Journal of Computational Physics is a no-go because it's Elsevier. Computer and Methods, again, Elsevier. Elsevier, all of these are kind of no-goes. IEEE Explore might be okay, but this is also the 9th biennial conference of the Australian something. But actually, this is the interesting point here. As we go further and further, I don't know. I've never seen this journal before. So maybe what this is telling me is that the journal doesn't matter too much, and maybe we could just put everything in the Journal of Open Source Software, International Conference on Medical Images. Springer, I think, is also still kind of a no-go. Here's one, IEEE transactions on something. I don't know what that is. Oh, sorry for the yawn. Okay, let's just take a look at this one. Yeah, so again, what I'm looking for are journals that allow for, like, have really good open access publishing requirements, or are very heavily in favor of open access publishing. So IEEE transactions on visualization and computer graphics. Maybe this is a place that we could publish. I don't actually know this journal super well. Let's take a look. If you want to avoid Elsevier and Springer, you only have to publish on the archive and conferences. Right. Look, that's how it might be in computer science. I honestly don't know. The fact is, like, a lot of the physics journals and stuff that I usually publish in have pretty good open access policies and stuff. Let me see what this guy is. And let me check their open access publishing policies and stuff. Because like part of this whole project is making sure you do everything open, and that includes the publications. And so if I can't do open access publications, which you usually can't with Elsevier, and you usually can't with Springer, I think maybe you can with Springer, but I'll double check that one as well, then, you know, we're kind of... Sign out there. Come on. Okay. I don't know why it says I'm signed into OIST. IEEE Explorer is temporarily unavailable. Great. Okay. Let's double check. Yep. Okay. Well, let's open this up in Google. Computer.org, IEEE transactions on visualization and computer graphics. I'm specifically looking for their open access policies. Here we are, IEEE. I think IEEE is actually pretty good with open access, but I wanted to double check. Learn how to publish and find open access content from IEEE Computer Society publications. So we have to make computing research more accessible and give authors more options. IEEE Computer Society has launched various hybrid and fully open access publications. Partial and fully opened research is made freely available to all while following the same high quality peer review process that our traditional journals receive. See, this is kind of what I'm looking for. So for authors, let's see. So hybrid journals, we are excited to offer authors the option to make their papers open access. Hey, Prutz1311, how are you? For cryptography and possibly cybersecurity in general, there's the IACR preprint platform, but most of the papers I read during my internship were published by Springer. Right. I had kind of the same, like during my undergraduate, I had the same feeling, like everything was published by Elsevier or something. So any of these actually useful? IEEE transactions on effective computing. What is effective computing? That doesn't help me in any way. Computational biology, visualizations, and computer graphics. Okay, so this one at least allows for open access publishing. It probably costs like $2,000, but they allow for that. So this might be a good journal to go for. Sustainable computing, software engineering, services computing, pattern analysis, parallel and distributed system. Again, another one that might be good to publish in. Mobile computing, knowledge and data engineering, emergent topics in computing, dependable and secure computing, transactions on computers, cloud computing, and stuff like that. Our award-winning magazines are also happy to offer authors the option to make their papers open access. IEEE CS offers authors 12 topical peer-reviewed magazines focused on various aspects of computing for researchers and professionals. What does transaction stand for? I don't know. As someone who is not native speaker of English, I'm wondering. So like transactions are usually like, you know, you pay for something, but yeah, I don't know what that means for IEEE transactions if they're open access. That's a good question. BB Astronaut, yay paywalls. Look, this is I want to open an open research company. I want to run an open research company, so I'm gonna have to find a way around these. Yeah, Bitcoin transactions, right? I mean, yeah, I guess. So we have computing in science and engineering. Maybe this one as well would be nice. Maybe. Let's see what we have here. Early access. Anyway, let's just see. That one might not be bad. IEEE Annals, computer graphics and applications, intelligent systems. Okay. So essentially what we're looking for here is almost certainly an open access, like IEEE journal is what we'd be looking for. It's not great. I mean, but the fact is, you know, like in physics, the American Physical Society journals, so like PhysRev letters, PhysRev A, PhysRev B, C, D, F, all these guys, all of those guys have open access policies. Now, the thing is, you usually have to pay about $2,000 for each of the open access publishing. Right, exactly. I'm trying to... I mean, obviously GA knows as well. I'm trying to see if there are other options for papers to publish in right now. I don't know if you just came in or not. So essentially what I'm looking for is journals that, you know, are available for open access, and I'm going to see how much they cost and try to figure out, like, the best publication strategy here. Because again, as I mentioned kind of a few minutes ago, I am kind of interested in just using the Journal of Open Source Software. Maybe there's a way just to reframe all of the research projects in terms of software, and then it's fine. Looks like academia is expensive. Oh yeah, it's expensive. Marichossi, hello, how are you? So one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, all of my papers are open access. I have 3 papers that are in the New Journal of Physics or some sort of physics journal. I have the Journal of Open Source Software. I have 1 paper. Oh, was that one open access? The one that we got from MIT? I hope it was, but maybe not. And then I've got a few other things that we wanted to talk about as well. But the point is, of the 6 papers or whatever that I have right now, which admittedly are not a lot, all of them I think are open access, which is important. But each one of them costed, $3,000 or $2,000 to make open access. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that scientists actually have to pay for their paper to be presented to the public, which is, of course, backwards, really backwards. But my argument is, and I know this isn't necessarily the best argument, but my argument is that journals provide, what do they provide? They provide basically a way. They provide a place for you to publish and a good peer review system. That's important. A very good peer review system is really important. But the primary thing that they provide is distribution rights. Well, okay, if you're publishing in the Journal of Open Source Software, fine. You're no one's going to know about your paper. But I can make people know about my paper if I, do my own marketing. And so maybe that's the way to do it. Ellie Fishy 2014, thanks for following. Also, Zeno Desain, thank you so much for following as well. My favorite copyright streamer, yes, maybe every time you come in, I'm talking about copyright. Sorry about that. I'm basically just kind of looking at what journals we could publish in and stuff like that. And I decided to do this on stream instead of off of stream because I kind of wanted to talk about, open accessing and all this kind of stuff, like why it's actually a pain to do that. Like BB Astronaut said, it's some BS, and it is. It's a bit of crap that you have to wade through every single time you want to do this kind of stuff. So they provide a racket. I mean, I don't know what you mean by a racket, but in some sense, yeah. It's nowadays the journal industry is not as useful as it once was. In my opinion, at some point, journals were absolutely necessary to distribute your work, blah blah blah. But nowadays, it's not so much. In some degree of higher education, is a degree of higher education required to publish papers, or can anyone do it if they know what they're talking or writing about? Technically, anyone can do it if they know what they're talking or writing about, but there is an exception here, or something to point out. If you're not part of an academic institution or a company or something that's kind of known, a lot of times what editors will do is they will take the paper and they'll immediately throw it out the door if you're not, part of an institution. So it's kind of important that you are part of an institution so you can publish those papers, but we'll see. Last time, a week ago, we were talking about citing and showing papers on stream and copyright. Yeah, I think that was 2 weeks ago, but yeah. Wondering if any journal publishing companies are public. Maybe I should invest. Well, maybe. It sounds like they play the same role as record labels for musicians. Maybe. To be fair, I don't know anything about music. The only music I listen to is the stuff on stream here and stuff on video games or something else that I would play. I don't really listen to music outside of that. So I really don't know how the music industry works at all. I genuinely don't. I just watch everything on YouTube. And maybe some anime music here and there. Okay, so I'm going to look at the IEEE open access. Here it is. This guy says it's open access. Okay, so we're going to look for the how much money it costs. So IEEE open access cost. All right, let's see what we got. The music industry is notoriously unpleasant. That's fair. I mean, I think you even talked about it at some point. FAQ. What do green and gold open access refer to? Okay, good. Fine. Do all IEEE journals accept open access articles? All wholly owned IEEE journals accept open access articles fees. Here we are. As of the 1st of January 2019, the article processing charge for hybrid journals is $2,045. Some journals charge additional fees, e.g. overlength and color page charges. See individual journal author instructions for specific details. For IEEE Access, it's $1,750. For the new topical journals, including launching in 2020, article processing fee will be $1,750. For all magazines offering open access, the article processing fee is about $3,000. For existing IEEE open access publications, please check the author instructions for specific details. So, IEEE is an all-right journal to consider. It's just going to cost us $3,000 to do. You could fill a playlist with songs about it. About how notoriously unpleasant the music industry is. To borrow a turn of phrase from TV tropes, most musicians are musicians. Anon, thank you so much for the cheer. Or the 1 bit, really appreciate it. $3,000. Yeah, so it's about $3,000, which is about right. That's what I expected it to be. Okay, so let's talk about the reason I wanted to bring this up in particular is because, as I said before, I'm trying to do an open research company. What does that mean? Well, notably, it means that all the research is public. All research is as public as I can make it. As public, 1 second, as I can make it. So this means that, we have Twitch streams, YouTube videos, all this kind of stuff. But another important, cog in this machine is that everything is open access. Now, my question is, does this necessarily mean that everything should be open source? If that's the case, I'm really limiting myself to journals that have very little reputation. Referencing the TV tropes page, most writers are writers. I've never heard of that at all. The floor is made out of floor. Seems good. How does such a company make money? But this actually has an impact in that you get a disproportionate amount of books about authors or reporters and a disproportionate amount of songs about making music. Okay, so BB Astronaut asked a very important question here, and that was how do, and I assume you meant publishers make money? That's a very good question. How does such a company make money? How do publishers make money? Sorry, I rephrased it slightly. Really, really important thing here is that there are hundreds of thousands of academics trying to publish at any given moment in time, right? The fact is that a lot of institutions, a lot of countries are really pushing for open access, right? And those countries, when they're pushing for open access, will also provide the open access funds in grant funding. So if you're applying for a grant and you say, hey, I need some funds for open accessing my work, they'll say, great, here's $3,000, here's $2,000, here's the money you need for open accessing your work. For example, I had a JSPS, Japanese Society for the Promotion of Science, Kakeni grant back when I worked at OIST, and I asked for a certain amount of money per year, and it was all publication fees. Literally, I think I asked for $6,000, $7,000 per year just in publication fees, because I was planning to publish 2 papers a year, and that's what it costs. So that's one way they make money. The open accessing fees are one way to make money, but the other thing is all of the papers are behind a paywall. So you've got not only thousands of people wanting to publish, but you also have even more people wanting to read the papers because they need it for their own research, for whatever, school reports, for various other reasons, right? And so if these are all behind a paywall and you're charging $30 per paper, pay-per-view, right? If you're charging $30 per pay-per-view, if you're charging $30, anyway, you know what I mean, then, that's also going to make you money. So it's $30 per pay-per-view, and then it's also $3,000 per open access. What they're basically saying is that they expect that your paper in its lifetime will get about 100 views. And so they're saying, okay, right. So basically they're saying that your paper in its lifetime will get about 100 views. And that's where their money comes from. Basically, their money comes from closing science off. That's where their money comes from. Alchemist Steak, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. But this actually has an impact in that you get a disproportionate amount of books about authors or reporters, and a disproportionate amount of songs about making music. Write what you know. I guess that's fair. But also, like, you know, whenever I write stories, I usually write stories about authors anyway, because it's just an interesting thing to talk about, you know? And more generally, songs about music. Music is good. Also, it's also a song topic, only bested in popularity by the Love song. Maybe. I mean, I'm not one of those people that likes music too much, so I don't really have an opinion here. Anyway, that's how the publishers make money. They make money by basically putting everything behind a paywall, and forcing people to basically go through that paywall, or circumvent the paywall with money, right? Now, you might be asking, what do publishers give you in return? Well, they give you a couple things. One, they give you distribution. That is to say, if you publish in Nature is a very well-known journal, and if you publish in Nature, your academic standing for basically the rest of your career, well, not the rest of your career, but you will have a very good academic standing that will allow for you to get better jobs. It will keep your job more stable. Like, it will help you out in the future, right? Publishing in a good journal means that you as an academic are doing very well. And these distribution rights are very important for very good journals, right? The other thing they give you is a good peer review process. Now, we can talk about whether the peer review process that journals provide is actually good or bad. There's probably a few more things that they provide, but these are the two big ones that I'm thinking about right now. So distribution rights and peer review. There's also some basic editing and stuff that they do as well, but quite frankly, that's all usually taken care of by LaTeX. You don't really need the editing to be done. So is, you know, the $30 per every pay-per-view or the $3,000 for open access worth distribution and peer review? Right now, the answer is unfortunately, yeah, kind of, because we don't really have good open access journals that provide a decent peer review system. We don't have good open access journals that have enough of an academic standing that they have a high enough impact factor. How do I put this? We don't have open access journals that have a high enough impact factor that people actually want to publish in those journals. So until we get a really good open access journal that publishes really good papers, that, you know, has a competitive impact factor with those who are extorting scientists, well, I mean, scientists need to publish to keep their career, so they're going to keep publishing in the journals that cost $3,000 per paper, if that makes sense. Mez Youssef 32, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Okay, anyway, that's my brief discussion about open access and stuff. So let me go back up here. So the reason I had this discussion is because, again, I realized that we could actually just publish everything in journals like the Journal of Open Source Software or PLOS ONE. Now look, PLOS ONE is like, it's like the dustbin is what they call it, the dustbin of publications, right? But we can make a bet. And this isn't necessarily a good bet. I don't like making a bet when I'm already betting on a bunch of other things, that the distribution of academic articles, that one thing that publishers say that they're good at doing, isn't super important in the age of the internet, right? We can argue that, look, as long as we have some way of showing people our paper, whether that be, you know, in the appropriate journal, or whether it be on the archive or something else, maybe we could do self-distribution, right? I could put out a YouTube video. I mean, obviously YouTube's not where scientists go, but like, I could find a way to make this particular paper in the public eye outside of publishing it in a good journal. So then you could publish in journals like PLOS ONE or the Journal of Open Source Software, and just have that be your primary publication platform, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, publishing in Nature is good for your career because it's Nature. But what people really care about is your H-index, which is the number of publications you have versus the number of citations per publication. As always, divide, we fall, and sometimes some psycho made profit off of it. Sorry for the rant. No, you're not ranting at all. I'm ranting here. I'm the one who hates the academic publishing industry and you know, blah blah blah. But look, everyone hates the academic publishing industry. The hope was that with an open research company, we could find a way to fix some of these issues, But how does the open access version of a publisher make money? How does the open access version of a publisher make money? Yeah, so the truth is, journals are super cheap. You don't actually, this thing, why do you pay for distribution, right? That doesn't make any sense, because the journal, it doesn't cost anything, right? Really, to publish like a paper. So let's take a look at the Journal of Open Source Software. I think I can find it by just typing in JAWS. We do this. Oh, that was JAWSO. Let me try this again. Okay, Journal of Open Source Software should be down here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. And what we're looking for is probably about, what exactly do you mean by journal? Do we have enough journals already? You said developer friendly, scope and requirements. Okay, it doesn't actually mention it here, but basically it costs him like $5 for each paper, like for the entirety of keeping the paper live on servers and stuff like that. So like journals are actually, relatively efficient. Like they don't cost that much money, right? So, the only thing that costs money are like the editors and stuff like that. If they come via volunteers, well, then it's fine. You don't have to spend, you really don't need to make money there. Also, there is some small service hosting costs. Otherwise, publishing is mostly free. Right. And the other thing to point out here is that not only is publishing mostly free, but also, most people ethically believe that the research should be open to everyone anyway, right? And so because of that, you have people who are more willing to volunteer as editors and stuff like that anyway. But also, a lot of times, even in a paid journal, the editors are working for free. A lot of times they're working on the side of their academic job and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's such a weird thing. I don't fully understand how we got to this place with academic publishing, but here we are, and it's something that everyone wants to fix, but no one really knows how. So, yeah. Let me see. What are we going to do next? We have about 10 minutes until the next exercise, so let's talk for a little bit, and then we'll do the swoleios exercise, and then we'll get started on the histograms and stuff. Are any journals run by universities? Yeah, I mean, most universities have some sort of journal specifically for undergrads and stuff like that. Like Auburn University had a publication for a lot of undergraduates to publish in and stuff like that. I just find it a bit ironic that academia, brightest of mankind, can't get together to make dissemination and archival of information done in a democratically owned manner. Nonprofit. Yeah, that's a very important point. This industry probably existed before the internet. That's how we got here. Right. It definitely did exist before the internet, right? Talking about Zenodesian, I actually don't know how to pronounce the name, but talking about that point that was just made. People talk about the ivory tower of academia and how the walls are closed and how, it's very difficult to break in and all this kind of stuff. And that's important stuff to talk about. But at the end of the day, the fact is that if you put a paywall up behind your research, like that's the number one reason people can't engage with academic work. And no matter how many people say, oh, academics are arrogant, or how many people say, oh, there's too much jargon, the number one reason people don't engage with research, at least in my opinion, has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that people have to pay $30 to actually read your papers, or else have access granted to them by an academic institution. Wearing my bias on my sleeve here, but are any journals run by socialists? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Probably not. Most of them are there to make money, right? I don't know. We could talk about the academic publishing industry like all day. Honestly, there's so many things to talk about here, and I just don't really know if this is going to go anywhere. There is Sci-Hub as well, which is a place where you can, basically get any article for free. Dubiously legal, in fact, definitely illegal, but yeah, ethically, everyone supports it. But, it's definitely not legal. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're about at the top of the hour. I'm going to be reintroducing the swoleios workout program. You can see down here at the lower left-hand side of my screen, we have a workout. I think it's 110 good mornings. Oh, you don't see that because I don't have it up. Now you should see it, I believe. 1 second. Let me see. There it is. Sorry about that. Why do journals exist? Hasn't the archive made it obsolete? I mean, the Kabbalistic journals. Right. So That's also a good point. Some journals are actually trying to make it so we do publish on the archive through peer review. The main value of academic publishing is peer review. Right, exactly. There's a value in peer review. Right. That and, of course, distribution rights. That's what I said. So, it's essentially, it's like, how do you put this? Again, if you publish in Nature, your career is set as an academic. If you publish in Science, again, it's pretty good. You publish in PRL, again, pretty dang good. If you publish in the archive, well, that doesn't mean anything, right? And in fact, the archive doesn't really provide a static link to go to either. So it's kind of difficult to work on. You can't, how do I put this? It doesn't provide a static link, so it's very difficult to cite papers from the archive. Peer reviewers don't get paid, as far as I know. No, they don't get paid at all. In fact, I was thinking about doing a peer review. I was thinking about doing a peer review for the Journal of Open Source Software on stream the other day, just because, I don't know, I thought it'd be an interesting thing to show off and talk about, the peer review process and all this kind of stuff. This is like a club. Oh, no, it is not like a club. It is a club. That's how academia works. So the publishers provide reputability, a sort of quality guarantee. Right, that's what they provide. That's the point of the journals. And like I said before, if we could get that quality guarantee from an open access journal, then we wouldn't need the publishers as they are today. Is it understood that academics do that during their work hours? No, they usually do it. Well, okay, it depends. Usually reviews are done outside of work hours, but it depends on your employer. Sometimes they're done during work hours, sometimes they're not. But you're rarely ever paid for it. Price is too high. Oh, it's definitely too high, no doubt. Paying $3,000 for a paper is just completely unworth it. Completely not worth it. So here's what I was thinking. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but this is what I was thinking. We can go two routes with this. We could publish in an open access journal, specifically open access journal, that doesn't cost money. Journal of Open Source Software, +1, something like this. Or we could go for a better journal, go through the entire peer review process. And in doing so, at the end, once we have it all published, I'll pay the publication fee. And then I was thinking, and this might not be a good thing to do, but I was thinking maybe I actually do a Kickstarter for the publication costs. $3,000, no more than $3,000, but $3,000. And the reason I'd want to do that, maybe like give out merchandise or something. I don't exactly know how to do that. But the reason I want to do that is as a way of highlighting how the academic industry actually works. Just to be like, hey, actually publishing papers costs $3,000. And a lot of people don't know that. And I think it's really important to tell the public this is the case. It's between $2,000 or $3,000 for open accessing the paper. You can publish in it for free, but then you don't have rights over your own publication. Everyone else does. And I'm sorry, not everyone else does. The journal specifically has rights over your publication. Yeah, one paper is $2,000 to $3,000 for open access rights. Again, you can give it to them for free, but then they own the paper. And that means it's not public. So to make the paper publicly available is $2,000 to $3,000. $3,000 can get you a car in my country as well. I got my first car for $1,000. Well, not technically. Technically, my car was free, but that's another story entirely. I had to pay my dad for the car, even though the car was free. Anyway, it's weird. It was a buy one get one free deal because my brother needed a car as well. So he paid $7,000 for my brother's car, and then got my car for free because we needed another car, and that was the deal, and it was kind of a junker. And then I had to pay my dad $1,000, even though he didn't have to pay for it. Them owning the paper is also ridiculous. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, all that said, I just wanted to say the idea of the Kickstarter would be, to offset publication costs, but it would also be to highlight exactly what's happening in academia. I mean, put it on the archive first, and then send it to whoever the peer review and publish solves that problem a bit. And we all do that here normally. Can you make a paper based on research that is done publicly? It's going to be very hard to make a paper based on only publicly available research. Even this stuff that I'm doing right now, as open as I want it to be, I can't rely on purely open papers. A lot of papers need to have, a lot of papers that I'm looking for are just closed. They're behind a paywall. It's very difficult to, do research without being able to access those papers. So it is what it is, Anyway, I think we've had enough discussion about open accessing and how, evil the publishing industry is. I've talked about my plan. My plan is to get the research done first, see how interesting it is, and if I feel it's interesting enough, then I'll choose my publication path from there. It might just be the Journal of Open Source Software. If I feel there's a lot of teeth to it and there's a lot of good work to be done here, then I might go for an IEEE journal and pay the publication funds, and then basically to put a Kickstarter along with the paper, or along with the YouTube video, and be like, hey, just for the record, in case people don't know, publications cost $2,000 to $3,000 for the author. This is how it works, and a lot of people don't know this. Does your institution have access to all those fancy journals? I mean, to read them? I don't have an institution right now, so the answer is no. I'm not going to explain how I get the papers, but you could imagine it kind of like Grubhub, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to be right back, and then we're going to go ahead and do our little mini workout for the hour, and then we're going to get started working on histograms and stuff like that, because honestly, we can talk about academic publishing for ages, for forever, honestly. And at this stage, it's not worth going in circles. Let's just go ahead and get the research done, and worry about fixing the publication industry, when we actually get some papers to publish. Okay, I'll be right back, guys, and then we'll do the workout, and then we'll get started on the histograms. All right, see you in a bit. Wait 1 second. Can you guys hear me? I think you can. Yeah. Okay. See you in a bit. Okay, I think this is good. Let me check to see if everything's okay. So, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I'm reintroducing a workout routine that I had a while ago called swoleios. The idea here was just to do a little bit of a workout at the top of the hour, every hour, just to kind of, get back into, the swing of things, to keep myself focused on actually getting work done. It allowed me to do longer streams and, kept everyone just a little bit active. So again, I'm not saying everyone has to do an exercise. I'm not saying you should get up and maybe move around a little bit, but this time in stream is specifically to stand up, just get a little bit of exercise in before working on the next thing. So right now, I think I have, it says 110 good mornings. So good mornings are back bends. So I'm just gonna do maybe not 110 of them because that's what the swoleios workout program says, but maybe just like, 50, 60 of them. We'll just see. So I'll do a set of 40, see how I feel, and go from there. I'm not sure how this is gonna look on stream. I haven't done this setup yet here, but that's the plan. So if you want to, feel free to get up, just move around a little bit, and then we'll get back to programming, hopefully doing some actual, real research after this is done. So give me just a second, and we'll get started. Oh, 1 second. What do we have? It doesn't look like... Yeah, good. I don't know where to put this microphone, though. I guess over here? I don't know. Wait, where do I put it? Here. Yep, that'll do. Sorry for all the noise. Okay, good. Right, so for those of you guys who don't know what a good morning is, it's essentially just a back bend. This is a kind of weird angle though, I guess, a little bit, but that's okay. I'll do 40 of them, see how I feel, and then go from there. Again, just, get up, move around a little bit, and that's what we're up to. So I'll go ahead and get started. All right, 1, 2, just bound. Let me move the camera up a little bit as well. Is that okay? Let's see. Yeah, it's a bit better. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. All right, so I'll do a few more. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, 20, we'll just do, it says 110, but I gotta be honest, we might not do 110. We might do, yeah, we might not do that number. We'll see. I'm gonna do another set of 30 though. Quite frankly, just moving around a little bit, super helpful for just keeping me on focus and stuff like that. Okay, so, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so if I'm gonna do all 110, then I've got 70 left. So I might just go ahead and do them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, halfway there, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. All right, 20 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so that is 110 good mornings, and I'm gonna get back to programming. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and I think we're good to go. All right. I said that super funny. I said it in a weird way. Okay, for those of you guys who may not know, a while ago we invented a swoleios workout routine, which was literally just, a 5-minute workout at the top of every hour. It really does help me, just focus on getting work done. It might not help everyone else, but the fact is, I think it's really healthy to spend 5 minutes not staring at a computer every hour and just doing something useful, or doing something useful for your body, not just like focusing on a camera or something like that. You know what I mean? So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and create the new set, which is going to be chair pose for 1 minute. I think, no, 3 minutes of chair pose. Really? That's what I said we're going to do? Man, the swoleios workout program is just insane. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the next bit, which is going to be working on the fractal generator. So, journal, new page before. We could continue our conversation on academic journals. Look, I mean, we could keep that conversation going for forever. Honestly, this is one of those things that we could talk about and talk about and talk about, but I feel like we can just keep going. No matter how much we talk about it, we're not going to be able to exact any change on it unless we, actually publish interesting papers outside of the academic industry, right? Let me get a little bit of water. So now what I'm going to do is introduce the next problem that we're going to work on. So, like I said before, we're going to talk about becoming a fractal. And yeah, you're right. It was slightly hard for me before, back when I was at MIT. So I've got a feeling we're not going to do the full 3 minutes of chair pose, but we'll do some of it, like a minute, and we'll see how this goes. That was slightly hard for you before you moved. Yep. Did you ever figure out the N32 problem? Yes, so that is now fixed in the current version of kernel abstractions. And part of the reason we talked about the whole academic industry and publishing and all that kind of stuff was because, well, frankly, I wasted an entire week doing nothing but focusing on kernel abstractions work, which is fine, but it's very far from where I want to be. It means we wasted a week, essentially, right? And I realized, look, nothing is really wasting a week, but we wasted a week, Okay, so what does becoming a fractal mean? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new terminal over here, and I'm going to make it this size. And then I'm going to open up a new terminal. Way too many terminals, I understand. Give me a second. And we're going to cd into projects, flamify. We're going to do mirage, check.png, and... Uh-oh. Oh no, you kidding me? I did a pacman SYU just before, and that was super dumb. So Python, what's the issue? Can I open shared no such file or directory? Yay-s mirage. None. Okay, let me just rebuild mirage. Sorry about that. I should have done yay. So let's try that again. Mirage check.png. Oh no! Gah! Mirage is what I do for image viewing. It's not working right now, and I want to fix it now. When in doubt, open a new terminal. Yeah, that's my motto, So, okay. Why is this not opening, and how do we fix it? Can I open shared object file, no such file, or directory? Let me just look for yay-ss mirage. I've been using this as my primary viewer for ages. AUR mirage, community lib mirage. Well, I think Mirage requires Python 2.7. Do I even have Python 2 installed anymore? Yeah, okay, so there is a Python 2 installed on my system. Let me try Mirage one more time. Let's take a look at the error and let's just solve it, and then we'll move from there. I'm on Python 2.7. and Mirage uses Python 2.7. Right. All right, let's move this to huge. Oh, crap. What are we going to do here? So we are looking for libffi, no such file or directory. This is just something I need to install. I don't know where this is, so let's figure that out. Let's go there and paste this here. This was my fault for this is my fault for Pac-Man SYUing just before stream. Sorry for probably not reading an answer somewhere else, but what Windows Manager are you using? I'm using OpenBox. It's available on Discord. Here, I'll go ahead and give you guys a link to Discord in the off-topic channel. So let's do this. Go here, create invite, copy, paste, bam. So feel free to go to the off-topic channel, and there will be a link to the actual OpenBox configurations. Oops, sorry, here. So it's in the pinned messages. It's right up there. So let's go over here. Python 2.7 is a Windows XP of programming. Fine, but terribly out of date, even though everybody continues insisting on using it. To be fair, I've never used Windows XP, so like I don't really know. Like I don't know why people were super into it. Again, I've never used any Windows version after Windows Vista. Technically, I've installed Windows 7, but like I never used it. Okay, so we need to reinstall. I don't know. I like Windows XP. I wish they kept supporting it. Yeah, I mean, fair. I just know nothing about it, Okay, let's do H. Let me take a look here. Oh, maybe this one's it. Perfect. Looks like it's relatively recent. Full pacman.log. As long as you're aware of it. So, I had a spare SSD. I installed Debian, opened up Timeshift, selected my latest backup, and made sure it pointed to the correct version. Wait, what's going on here? I have Arch working really well until this afternoon when there were 3 packages that needed updating. I clicked update and everything went fine. And when rebooted, the message was displayed. Okay. Let's see. It's because you need glasses. Okay. So should we just download this? Let's see what happens. libffi. I guess this is updated. Sudo pacman-s libffi. Should I just downgrade libffi? Maybe that's what I need to do. Let me try Mirage. Screenshot. Okay. Let me try it again. Let me check the error that we get. It is this one, and it says cannot open shared object file, no such file or directory. Let's just downgrade libffi for now then. So I'm gonna go over here, cd var pacman. Wait, isn't it? Wait, is var lib pacman? Wait, where is it again? I don't remember. Where are all the old var cache probably. Pacman. Yeah, there we go. ls here, cd package, ls here, and now we're gonna do ls lib ffi star. Okay, and let's just downgrade it, see if that solves the issue. ZST file. Is that okay? Maybe I'm like old school, but I thought they were xf. Okay, maybe I just forgot what they were. 3.4.2, 3.3.4. So let's try that one. So we're gonna do sudo pacman-u, and let's try downgrading libffi to this guy. See if that works. Breaks dependency libffi.so is equal to 8.64 required by glib2, required by Thunderbird. I see. So I don't think I can downgrade it. Okay, we'll just use a different image viewer. Let me take a look to see if there's anything going on. So Mirage image viewer. It's unfortunate. I've been using Mirage for the past 15 years, 14, 15. It was my first image viewer. I'm like, oh, this is super nice. Screenshots, download, documentation, changelog. When was the last changelog? 2011 was the last changelog. Do we have download? Is there a... there's a tar.bz2 file. All right, I can use a different image viewer. Package Pacman S Mirage. Is Mirage actually even available anymore? Let me do Pacman-SS Mirage. It's still available. Oh no, but a CD-ROM image. Yeah, so it's only available in the user repositories now. How hard is it to break Arch Linux compared to Debian? To be fair, it's easier to break Arch Linux than Debian because everything's rolling release. So every time you do an update, potentially something breaks. Galactic Teams, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Okay, fine. What do we have here? You could use Fe. It's pretty lightweight and should be similar to Mirage. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna do CD projects. Flamify Fe. I don't have it. Sudo pacman-s Fe. Yep. And now we're gonna do Fe. 1 second. Fe check.png. And then we should be able to. Oh no, it doesn't have my favorite option. Dang it. The only reason I use Mirage is because when you open it opens up all images in the same directory at the same time, so you can just scroll between them all. I found pacman syu command on Arch forum. Yeah, so use pacman. So pacman syu is what you do to update, and so I ran that just before stream. So that's the update command. So that was the reason it broke, because I ran it just before stream, and I guess the libffi package was updated, and that's what happened. Okay, let me take a look at other image viewers. Let's see what we got here. I have a question. I want to install Endeavor's Linux. I have a question. I want to install Endeavor's Linux. Is Arch-based? Is it worth it? I don't know about Endeavor's Linux, but look, we're having trouble with Linux right now. But generally speaking, I like Linux. I have fewer problems with Linux than I have with any other like package manager or anything like that. Here's what I'm gonna do, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do image to Sixel, and we're gonna do image to Sixel on check.png, and can I resize with image to Sixel? And we'll just have a terminal. Screw it, I'm gonna have a terminal. There's a Mirage user repo. Oh, is there? Yeah, go ahead and give that to me. Found on distrowatch.com. You can do fed dot. Okay, let's see what happens there. Fed dot. Almost. Oh, okay, so left and right does it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's make this a bit smaller. Oh, how do you resize it in Fe? Here? What happens if I press next? Oh no! Every time. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You don't need that. You need to fix your system to work with libffi.so.8. Start by making your system. Start to make sure your system is fully updated. The answer that is provided is not useful. No, that's fair. I mean, it is useful, right? It means that we should probably not be using Mirage because Mirage is a super outdated package. Let me take a look here. I think this is the one that I was using. So I was definitely using the AUR version of Mirage. This is the one I had before. Yeah, I can double check, but yay-s Mirage. That's the one I had installed. None. Mirage check.png. Yeah, that's the one that's broken. I've upgraded Laos. Oh, nice. Wait, upgraded to what? This is the reason I went for Nixos on the development machine. Wait, which one? Sorry. Let's see. The answer is provided not useful. Okay. I'll just use another image viewer. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. It's just that I've been using Mirage for ages. I knew it was outdated. I just kind of left it as is. The issue with libffi seems to have been resolved. Oh, it's been resolved, has it? Okay. Well, in that case then, python2 gobject.get. Do I update again? Sudo pacman-syy. Was this just me being dumb? And let me check sudo python2. No, it's the same version. I'll go AFK for 1 second and y'all change the Laos version from under me. This breaks my workflow. Wait, what are we talking about? I mean, to be fair, right? Like everyone relies on some weird back-end workflow. Like everyone does, you know? Did something happen that I'm not aware? Anyway. Okay, so they say libffi has been fixed here, which is nice. Thanks for that. Please unflag this package. So how do I update to Python 2 gobject2.get? Okay. No. Sudo pacman -s python 2 gobject dot. Sure. Mirage checked up here. No! Oh, I thought that was it. Python 2 gobject2. No, not found. But it says it's right here. AUR. Maybe it's in the AUR. Let's try yay-s. I'm sorry. None. And let's do this. See, the thing is, I like Mirage. It's just what I've been using for years. And, you know, like, I know we've had this discussion before, but I've been using the same setup for 14 years, and I just don't want to change it. I just like it that much. I'm willing, actually, to update Mirage if it's broken. Like, I'm willing to... There we go. It's working now. Wonderful. Perfect. Is this useful? No. No, it's not useful. We wasted 5 minutes on stream for nothing, but I don't care. All right, let me move this up here, and we're going to move this over here, and we're going to move this down. All right, wonderful. I'm sorry, guys. I know that was a waste of time, but at the same time, you know. Oh, Fed does have some nice features, though. So the problem with Fe was that I couldn't resize very easily. I know there's probably an option to resize easier and all that kind of stuff. I just didn't know it. And so what I typically do here is I'll like scroll down through different images and stuff. So that feature of Mirage is super useful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move this down here, and we're going to talk about the fractal flame method. What? I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that so weird. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to flash you guys there. Let me, oh no, I can't find it. Oh, there it is, I found it, this one. We're gonna talk about becoming a fractal. We're gonna introduce the project, and we're gonna get this done. Honestly, there we go, it's fixed. Okay, so, what is the purpose of this project? This thing that you see right here is a really beautiful image that I created a few years ago when we were looking into something known as the fractal flame method. What is the fractal flame method, you might ask? Wow, what a wonderful question. Thank you so much for that. Let's go here to the algorithm archive. I'm being a jerk, and I'm sorry. And let me go to the iterated function system. Yank, and paste this over here. The idea behind an iterated function system is that you have a set of functions, and based on how the functions work, they create a particular image. Now, these functions are a particular set of functions to create the Sierpinski triangle, which can be shown here. The idea is that each function will bring you halfway towards one of the points, either A, B, or C. And so if we watch the animation, what we'll see is that first we start with 3 points, D, E, and F. They create children, so half move towards A, or they move halfway towards A, halfway towards B, and halfway towards C. And then those kids generate children again. And those kids will generate kids again. And basically this process repeats again and again and again and again until eventually you start to see the Sierpinski triangle, right? Now, this is one way to generate a fractal. There are actually many different ways to generate fractals, but this is just one way to do it. It's notably really inefficient, but you can do it this way. And this is just a way to show how an iterated function system works. You have a set of functions, particles move according to this set of functions, and then they create an image out. This image is known as the attractor to the system, and so here what we've done is we've combined multiple function systems together. One that generates a heart, another that kind of twists things around in a circle, a bunch of different ones to create this pattern here. Notably, if we have the right set of equations and we color the equations correctly and everything else, we can perfectly recreate basically any image, right? So the goal for this particular work is to basically take an image, turn it into a set of equations, and output a fractal that looks exactly like the image, thereby compressing the image into a fractal, so I will become a fractal, right? If I take a picture of myself, I want to basically create a fractal code that is me, right? So what are we going to do? This involves two steps. The first step is fractal compression, which is the act of taking an image and turning it into a set of equations. This is difficult. The next is fractal decompression, which is slightly easier and what we're working on today. We'll work on the fractal compression part later. So fractal decompression is just the act of basically generating an image as fast as possible, getting this image as fast as possible. Now, what is this image? Let's scroll in. Let's take a look down here. And wait 1 second. I'm not doing a very good job of this. Here. So here we see a very high density of points. The idea there is that, as we were generating our fractal and all the points went everywhere, a whole bunch of them got into this position here. So what we're seeing is a lot of these particles going specifically to 1 pixel. Whereas if we go out here, there aren't as many pixels, right? These pixels are not as filled. So essentially what we have to do is we have to find a way to do something called binning. Let me scroll back out over here. Wait 1 second. We have to, okay. I don't know what happened, but let me scroll in. Okay. We have to do something known as binning all of the points to kind of put them into a set of pixels, right? And this act of binning is identical to the act of histogramming, which is just the act of like counting how many 1s or 2s or 3s you have in like a string of numbers. There you go. Here's your string of numbers, just a random set. So let's say we wanted to create a histogram with this set of numbers, and we want to figure out how many 1s there are, how many 2s there are, how many 3s, so on and so forth. Well, one way to do that is by creating a coordinate system in here, and just saying, okay, well, we have a bin for 1, a bin for 2, bin for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 0, and the 5 and 6 bins are remarkably close to each other, so let's move them out a little bit, 5, 6, and 7. So what we'll do is we'll go through each of these. This is 3. So it belongs in the 3 bin over here. This is 2, so it belongs in the 2 bin over here. This is 1, so it belongs in the 1 bin over here. And basically we throw them into each of these bins. Now, let's say we want to do this in parallel, right? We want to do this on a massively parallel system, like the GPU. Well, in this case, let's go with a very simple case where we have 2 cores. So one core is dealing with all the numbers over here, and the other one's dealing with all the numbers over here. The first core acts and essentially puts 1 in 3, and the next core puts something in 6. Again, these are done in parallel. So then this one puts something in 2, and this one puts something in 4. This one puts something in 1, and this one puts something in 8, So eventually what might happen, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but what could happen is maybe this 3 over here, maybe this core has to put this guy in bin 3, while this guy has to put this guy in bin 3 at the same time. So what we're going to have here is a write conflict. We're going to have a situation where more than one item wants to write to the same location in memory at the same time. And if this is done in parallel, we run into issues, right? Now, there are a bunch of ways to fix this, and we're going to talk about the ways to fix it as we work on the code. But for now, what we're doing is we're doing the histogramming part of the generation of this fractal, and we're speeding up that part of the process so that we can make essentially the world's fastest fractal generator. Wow, amazing. Before moving on to a very fast implementation of fractal compression and fractal decompression with the hope of making high definition video. So like 60 frames per second video or something. Turn yourself into a fractal. You can maintain several tables for parts of the array and merge them at the very end. Yeah, that's one way to do it. The way that we're going to do it first is by serializing everything. So like making it so it doesn't act in parallel. And then we're going to work on other things from there. So we're going to cd into projects, histogram, project swoleios histogram. Okay, and this is the part I've been dreading. Project swoleios and histogram. This is the part where things go south very quickly. I'm going to go into vi histogram.jl. This is broken. And we need to fix it. And in the process of fixing it, we ran into a bug with kernel abstractions that took us basically a week to fix. Should it have taken us a week to fix? Probably not, honestly. We probably could have fixed it really easily. But yeah, we didn't. It took us a while. So it's fixed now. Kernel abstractions is fixed. I think we're using the right version of kernel abstractions on my Julia version. So let's go here to Julia, and we're just going to use just st really quick, just to check the status. Yeah, so I'm using my local version of kernel abstractions. I'm going to run the minimum working example that we have here, and then I'm just going to basically start working on the histogram stuff. So let's go here, and let's go into the vi minimum working example.jl. Okay, so what was a minimum working example? Well, basically we ran into an issue where we were not able to convert floats or integers into an int32 value. before fixing something, you need to debug it, and debugging itself can take months. Yeah, that's where we're at. But anyway, hopefully it's done. Like, hopefully it's fixed. So we ran into an issue where we couldn't convert to int32. Because we created a shared tile of type int32, it meant anytime we wrote to the shared tile, it would be writing to type int32, and it would run into the error that we saw before. So this is a very simple test that basically writes to a shared memory tile of type int32 and reads from the shared memory tile of int32. And hopefully it works. We're going to double check it. I'm pretty sure it works. And then we're going to start talking about the histogram, which is going to be crazy. So let's go ahead and do include minimum working example.jl. While this is compiling, I'm going to mention just one thing for now, and that is that I need to leave today at exactly 6 o'clock p.m. Because it's Tuesday, and every Tuesday my wife and I basically make tacos. That's it. It's Taco Tuesday. It's just a day a week that we make sure that we meet together for dinner. So just letting you know, 6 o'clock is my hard deadline today. So that's about 2.5 hours, but we'll get somewhere in 2.5 hours, definitely. Man, it is amazing how much that little 5-minute workout at the start of the hour really just helps. I know I say this every time. Like back when I did this at Boston, I said the same thing. But doing just that short workout at the top of every hour really does just make it easy to do this kind of stuff, Just about a 380 for 1,400 euro. Not sure how I feel about the price, but still looking forward to working with it. I mean, I should probably get a better graphics card also. You didn't try this after fixing the kernel abstractions bug? Oh, I did. I just wanted to double check that I was using the right kernel abstractions version for now, just so that we didn't run into this. It looks like we are, but I'm double checking. I'm just being very cautious about this. So if you want to know the state of the PR, let me go here, go to github.com, and let's go to here. And then we go to kernel abstractions. The PR is here, and I don't believe there's been an update since yesterday. Basically, I'm just waiting for the tests to finish, and then once the tests are finished, I'm gonna squash everything, and it will be good to go. Okay. So let's get this done. The next thing I'm gonna do is start working on the histograms. So vi histograms.jl. Let me get a little bit of water, just a little bit. It's gonna be crazy. I do need a better GPU though. I'm using a GTX 970. I've been using the same GPU for 6 years. Maybe even longer, honestly. I have relatively recent AMD CPUs and a new motherboard and everything, but my GPU is still a GTX 970. I think the reason is I'm kind of hoping that my next GPU will actually be an AMD GPU. I know that the industry standard is CUDA and everything. I know that's what it is. But there's something about AMD that I like, and I'm really hoping that kernel abstractions kind of moves forward and starts working on AMD a bit better so that I can use that as my primary GPU platform. So I don't have to worry so much about, NVIDIA and all this kind of stuff anymore. But then again, you might as well wait another year for GPUs to get cheaper. Right. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I would love to have an AMD GPU is what I'm trying to say. Right now, the industry does not look like I'm going to be able to have an AMD GPU. But hey, my GPU is still working. I'm just going to keep using it. AMD would have better Linux support as well. The truth is, I don't really use the GPU for anything outside of computing. So I don't really care too much about how snappy my system is. I played Guild Wars yesterday, but I honestly don't play it too much. I mean, I honestly, for example, Guild Wars 2 is coming out with a new expansion. I'm not going to buy it. I've been looking at it. I was thinking maybe I should, but I'm not into gaming anymore. Every time I try, I just get miserably depressed. So it's not something I want to do. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Exactly. That's exactly where I'm at right now. Okay. So let's just knock this out. The first thing I'm going to do is just run this test and see what errors I get. I'm so worried about it. I'm genuinely worried about this. It's going to fail. I know it's going to fail, and I just don't want to see the failure. Okay, so we have histogram tag, and we have test set histogram tests. So let me go ahead and comment this out, or comment this back in, rather. Let's run it. Include histograms.jl. Crap. I was not expecting a segmentation fault. Okay, let's go through and just try to get this to work. So I'm gonna comment this back out. Go down here to the bottom, comment this back out. So the advantage of kernel abstractions is that you can write something that works on both the CPU and the GPU. This kernel is broken. The idea was to write a very simple histogramming function, not the tagging one, not anything sophisticated, just something simple, and that was the point. So let's go ahead and read this code and try to figure out what I was trying to do a week ago when I wrote this, and then we'll kind of work on it from there. Well, at least it's a new error. Yeah. Oh crap. I'm doing a push-up per compilation error. I forgot about that. Oh no. I was trying to remove the languages in FFT that has partial implementations, but I had trouble locating FFT. It turned out that it was called Coolie Tukey something. When I was about to create a PR with the changes, I found out that you already had fixed them in your PR from yesterday. Yeah. Oh, we need to do algorithm archive work as well. Let's do that at 5 o'clock p.m. So it's almost 4 o'clock p.m. So we'll work on this for an hour, and then I'm going to do that at 5. I kind of want to do the algorithm archive stuff at the end of stream so that people like Nick and people from the US can also join if they want to. So we're going to try to get this histogram working now. And I just realized we have to get it working in an hour and a half, which is crazy. What did we do last hour? Oh yeah, we talked about academic publishing for an hour because it's insane. Okay, so I'm going to run histogram tag specifically on the CPU. So histogram tag. Basically what we need to do is first create a histogram. So let's run Julia. Well, actually first let me clear and reset. And now we're gonna run Julia. So we're gonna include the histograms.jl file, which is not gonna run the test set. And then I'm gonna create the histogram, create the set of values, and just run it. Sorry. So the way this dispatches is based on, the way this dispatches is based on the type of histogram and the type of values. So we're going to read in a random set of values. We're going to create a histogram that can fit all those values, and then we're just going to run it. So we're going to say values use are going to be equal to, I don't know, rand of 128 power 2. Why not? Now we're going to say, can I do this? Okay, that worked. Let's actually make it 512 then. Now we're gonna say histogram is gonna be equal to zeros of 512. Okay. Histogram. Oh. I have a function called histogram. Okay, let me modify some names in here then. I'm gonna modify, what should I call histogram? I think it should be called histogram, shouldn't it? So should we change the tag? So, okay, so I'm gonna change it so the data structure is not called histogram, but instead called, okay, screw it. This is going to be called create histogram. See, the problem is histogram can be a verb, but it's also the noun for the object that we're creating. So I'm going to change this to histogram values. 1 second. One second, I'm going to check something out. Sorry about that. What did I just do? There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to call all the histogram values. So function Instagram. Whoa. Function Instagram to get that good old speed feeling. Also, what time is it in Japan? It's 7 hours from now. So isn't it quite late? 1 second. It should be, it's 10. It's about 11. Yeah, I hope you're doing okay. So let's change all these to histogram values. So, oh, come on. I can't type. I cannot at all. Histogram. Shared histogram. Sure. Length of histogram values. Next. Sure. Length of histogram values. Next. So I suspect that this is only segfaulting on the GPU. So I'm gonna just double check to make sure. Okay, that should work. Next. 1 second. I'm just changing the name of all these guys. Oh no, I need to move to the next line. You guys are gonna hate this. Close to my bedtime, I guess. That's fair. Man, our bedtime's like 9. Our bedtime is like 9:30 at the latest, which is actually quite late for me. How are you, Cookie Bow? I hope you're doing okay. I'll go for a while. Hopefully we'll catch the end of your stream. Yeah, so I'll be live for another 2 hours or so, 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're actually going to do a little mini workout again in about 15 minutes. Hopefully people will join for that as well. The only problem I find with Julia is the lack of support on the web. That's fair. Cookie Bow, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so, I mean, Julia's not really meant to be a web. I say that. I mean, look, if you talk to the people in the Julia lab, they're going to tell you that Julia should be used for everything, including, web stuff. But yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think Julia will ever be meant or will ever be primarily used on the web. I feel like it's meant to be for scientific computing, and I think it does pretty well in that area. To have a language that's reasonable to write, but also is roughly as fast as C and Fortran, that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to be honest, as far as a scientific computing language, Julia does have a while to go. Not being able to create compiled binaries is a huge pain. And honestly, it's one of the big reasons why I feel like, if people say they prefer using C or C++ or Fortran or something like that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. I do get that because you can't even create a binary in Julia appropriately, specifically not if you're targeting the GPU. But it's it is what it is. I think it has already started to catch on, and I think it will only continue to catch on for research software and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to grow beyond that. Okay, let me go ahead and write this guy. Control D, Julia, and we're going to include again. And then we're just going to create our values and histogram and run everything on the CPU. And then we're going to kind of mess around with the kernel. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create our final histogram with the histogram function. So we're going to do values is equal to this guy. So it's going to be an integer between 1 and 128. And it's going to be 512 of those. So now I'm going to create my histogram. I think I already have a function for that. Let's just go here and do final histogram. Histogram is going to be equal to histogram of values. I think that'll work. And I'm going to go ahead and plot that using plots. Add plots. One thing that is nice is Julia 1.6 is remarkably faster for pre-compilation and stuff like that. So plots takes a lot shorter time to build and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, look, so a while ago I taught a course on computational thinking with, Grant Sanderson, Alan Edelman, David Sanders, and just people helping out, I think we did the best job we could have. Look, it could have been better. It always could have been better. But man, pre-compilation time, you'd be in the middle of a live stream, like a live lecture, and you only have 20 minutes to do the live lecture, which is just insane, And then, 10 minutes of that would just be spent doing Julia precompile, it's just crazy, And of course, because a lot of other people didn't have live streaming experience, I was the one that had to do most of the live streams, which was not great, it was. So live streams are always the ones that are going to break, you know. And they did every time because of Julia pre-compilation every time. Anyway, it's gotten better. Like, it's way faster to build things and all that kind of stuff than it used to be. All right, I'm going to plot this histogram, and that's going to be what we're going to try to create. Then I'm going to go through the histogram kernel. I'm going to run it really quick on the CPU and just see what it currently does and see what we actually need to do to fix it. I've got a feeling we're going to have to do a lot of shared memory tricks and stuff like that to get even a simple parallel histogram implementation working. But we're just going to see how it goes. Again, guys, we're going to do a small mini workout in about, I don't know, in about 10 minutes or so. It says 3 minutes of chair pose, but I'm going to be honest, we're probably just going to do a minute and call it at that, just because I feel like doing that. Also, guys, you need to keep me honest. Every time I get an error message, be sure to tell me to add a push-up. I just have to make sure I do that. Every time I get an error, I need to add a push-up. Now, I think we can be lenient on what counts as an error and what doesn't count as an error, but anyway, it's fine. Final histogram. Okay, that's an error. Okay, plot final histogram using plots. So we should have 2 push-ups to do, and then a minute of chair pose. So now we're going to run the plot command again, see what this does. It'll take a second to do the first plot, but the other ones should be quick. +1 for the seg vault as well. I think I added one for the seg vault. Oh, but not for the second seg vault. You're right. Okay, so this is the histogram we're trying to recreate. Well, it's not super pretty, but it's fine. You know, it'll do. Okay, so we're at 3 push-ups. I'm actually not sure. So the problem is between the push-ups and the workout, it goes over 5 minutes every time. I'm wondering if maybe we should take out the push-ups and just do the workout. Anyway, it's fine. The point is just to do some exercise at the top of the hour. It's not a huge deal. Okay. So let me go ahead and read this code and see what's going to happen. In fact, let's just run the code, get an error, and see what the error is. So we're going to do, I think I just need to do histogram tag of values. I think that should work. So histogram tag of values. And it's going to break. Yes, it did break. Wonderful. +1. Okay, but this was not a break that I was hoping to see. LIDs 1, task failed exception. Wait, nested task error, method error, no method matching length of type of histogram. I see. Where is that guy? This is going to be on line. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get this guy to run, and then I'm going to go from there. So this is huge. Let's see. Length. Okay, it's obviously on one of the lengths, right? Length of values, length of histogram values, length of histogram value. Okay. Length of histogram values. Length. Here. If TID is equal to 1, print length of shared histogram is equal to length of shared histogram. I bet that's where it's breaking. Write this. Go over here, Control C. Run it one more time. Include. And then we're just going to run histogram tag one more time. Is this the same error? Probably just didn't recompile the kernel. Control C, Control D, Julia, include. Oh man. Also, I haven't decided what we're gonna do with channel points. We used to make it so channel points could, come on, could also like add push-ups and stuff like that, but I'm not sure. No method matching iterate for type of values. What's the issue here? Could you give me a line number? It says on 64, which is histogram values. Fine. Wait, that's where it's breaking? What? Oh, maybe because I don't have values defined. I see. What I didn't realize is that values was already a Julia method. Let's do question of values. What does this do? Dictionary, values of iterator. For an iterator or collection that has keys and values, return an iterator over the values. This function simply returns its argument by default, since the elements of a general iterator are normally considered its values. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't use the word values and instead should call them something else. So anytime I see values or histogram values, maybe we should call them input instead. So we have, yeah, I'm just going to call it input from now on. So let me just go ahead and change that all. So we're going to do this and go s values input cg. Yep. 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 Nope. Yep. Nope. Nope. Sorry. Nope. Yep. 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 Oh no, I screwed up. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. No. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so now look for histogram values. Okay, so this one needs to change to... Oh, all the histogram values need to change to histogram output, but there was one that was histogram input that I accidentally changed, and this one needs to change to histogram output. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change all of the histogram values to histogram output CG. Yep. Okay, that should be fine. Write this. Okay, so that was just because I accidentally had the keyword values where it was defined as a vector or something like that, when in fact it should it shouldn't have been that. So we're going to say values is going to be equal to this. I'm going to change this to input. Okay, and now what we're going to do is run this one more time. It's going to be histogram tag of input. Another error, and now we're going to do include. Sometimes you just have too much going on in your head, right? I mean, rarely happens for me, but yeah, it happens for other people a lot, you know? Okay, so now we're going to do histogram tag one more time of input. Hopefully this... Okay, it gives us an error, which I don't like, but we're going to try to work through it. How many push-ups am I going to have today? Like, what is that, 10 push-ups already? And I've just been coding for like only 10 minutes? No, it's 6. Okay. No method matching length of histogram. How is it of type of histogram? Where do we have any lengths? So we have length here, length of input, length of histogram output, length of shared histogram, that's all commented out, length of histogram output. I see. Okay, so it doesn't like this guy? Length of input, length of histogram output. Does it just not like any of those? Wait. Because those, okay, let me just remove all of the lengths. Does it just not like, no method matching length of type of histogram. What line are you on? And how are you of type of histogram? Why are we calling this on a type of anything? Abstract dictionary, this is online, fallback macros, overdub, thread run. None of these are useful. CPU.jl, histogram's 42. If LID is less than length of histogram output. Okay, so it doesn't like length of histogram output, but I don't fully understand why it's doing this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this to compile via very stupid, just removing all the lines that are broken. I'm going to get it to compile. I'm going to do all the push-ups. We're going to do, I think just a minute of chair pose is enough. I don't think we have to do more than that. And then we're going to move on to everything else. Now, I got to be honest, chair pose is like one of the most boring things to watch on stream. So I don't know exactly how we're going to do this, but it should be okay. All right, so we're going to do... Okay, so it doesn't like the lengths here. Let me just run a blank kernel is what I'm going to do. So we print LID as whatever. That's fine. Anything but this. So if LID is less than length of histogram output. What's bothering me is that it says histogram output is a type of... Okay, here's what I'm not going to call this kernel. I'm just going to see what the type of histogram output is. So we have histogram, and we have co-array of histogram. So if it's an array, we call this one. I see. 1 second. I think I understand. I think that's the issue. It's because I never changed those histograms. So let's try this one more time. Right, this Control C, Control D, Julia. We're going to run input is equal to this guy. Then we're going to include this guy. And then we should be able to run histogram tag. We'll see what error pops up. We'll do a quick 5-minute workout and then go from there. So now we're going to run histogram tag of input. See what happens. Okay, it failed, but it was a different error than last time. And the fail here is no method matching get index of type of histogram. It's 64. Okay, we'll just keep working on this when we get back. Let me add another push-up to the list. I think that's 8 push-ups. Okay, so for those of you guys who may not have been here before, or weren't here, for a while, a long time ago, we created a workout program called swoleios. It was simply a way for me to kind of do a short workout at the top of every hour in order to keep myself just kind of motivated to keep going on and stream and a bunch of other things, right? So the idea here is that we're just going to take 5 minutes to kind of just do something physical. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, the physical thing that we're going to be doing is a minute of chair pose. It says 3 minutes, but I'm going to do a minute because I'm just going to do a minute. You guys are going to have to deal with that. And it's also, I think, 8 push-ups, so it should be relatively light. I want to get back to the CPU stuff, so we're going to kind of cheese it a little bit and go from there. I should have my watch somewhere. Give me a second to get everything set up, and then we'll go from there. So give me 1 second. Wait. Okay, good. I think it's good. Okay, so it says I have 8 push-ups to do. I'll go ahead and do that. And then we have, it says 3 minutes of chair pose, but I'm just going to do 1. Again, feel free to join along. It should be relatively easy to do. It's just a way to do just a little bit of physical exercise, kind of keep yourself fit, keep yourself motivated to keep working. And yeah, that's what we're up to. So I'm going to go ahead and do the push-ups, do some chair pose, and go from there. Okay, 8 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we got the chair pose, which is the hard part. I have to touch the microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, so for chair pose, I'm just gonna do it, and you guys are gonna have to. It's gonna be weird, but that's okay. Okay, I've got my watch. I'm going to start timing. I'm just gonna do a minute, so we're just gonna hold the full minute. And I guess we'll just see how this goes. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, and all right, go. Also, this is not very good chair pose because I haven't done it in a very long time. We'll move back a little bit. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a great day. I really have nothing else to say, but yeah, if you guys want to do a little bit of physical activity, just kind of chill a little bit, this is a good way to do it. Move this over here. So it's been about 25 seconds, so 30 more seconds. If you guys want to go get a drink of water or something, now would be a good time. 30 seconds. Whew. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. I used to be very good at this, but I'm not good at this at all now. I have been working out regularly for the past, ever now. It's been a very long time. So, yeah, let's just kind of wait 10 more seconds. About 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and good. Okay, so that's it for now. I'm going to get back to programming, so give me just a second to switch scenes and everything. And yes, I do read that, pretending to sit in a chair to take a break from sitting in a chair. I get it. Okay, that was it for the workout for now. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, but again, the idea was just to do some amount of physical activity at the top of the hour to really just kind of, I don't know, get energy back. I found a few days ago that I was just super tired when I was streaming, and I couldn't fix it. And then I remembered when I was doing the swoleios workout routine, honestly, I was never really that tired. So I figure, yeah, let's add it back. Maybe it's going to be like a cringy 5 minutes at the top of the hour every hour. But hey, if it means I can do longer streams and have the energy to keep going, I think it's a fair trade. Okay, so let me get the next set. We only have one more today, arm hold. I'm getting the really boring ones today, aren't I? So chair pose, arm hold. It's okay. So it's arm hold for what, 3 minutes? Arm hold's actually way easier to do. So I don't know. We might not do the full 3 minutes, but we'll do it. Okay. I also need to reset the push-up counter. Give me 1 second. I think this resets it. I think. Let me check. Does it? Yes, it does. Perfect. Okay. Then I think we're good to go. So let me go back to the Raj and the Julia REPL, which should be here. Okay, so the goal for the next hour is just to get as close to a working version of our histogram code as possible. We're going to try to get it working on the CPU. Might still be a bit of an issue. So if that doesn't work, we're going to get as far as possible as we can. As far as possible as we can. Okay, that's a bit redundant. But on top of that, we only really have an hour to work on histograms because I promised I'd work on algorithm archive work at 5 o'clock. So after the next exercise, which will be the last exercise of the stream, we're going to switch gears to work on algorithm archive work because that's just a time a lot of people are awake and it's a good time to do it. So, yeah, also, I said this before, but it is amazing how much more motivated I am to get work done after doing just a little bit of physical activity. Like it just genuinely makes me like engaged and excited and all that again. Code and Math, thanks so much for following. Really appreciate it. Okay, let me get some more water and we're just gonna figure it out. Okay. Right, so what was the error that just came up? Let's go here to huge, scroll up. The issue here is we're actually printing out the LID, so that's the local ID, just fine. It breaks at method error, no method matching, get index type of histogram, int64. It's like manually forcing blood into the brain. Yeah, honestly, like, look, I've said this before. I made a video on this. I genuinely feel that like just sitting in a desk all day, it's not good, right? So you've got to do something to just get yourself up, get yourself active, get the blood flowing a little bit. And for me, walks and stuff like that help. But sometimes they're not enough. Sometimes I'll go for a walk and I still feel really groggy and stuff like that. Sometimes I just need some sort of just like, hey, this is like a hardcore exercise for 5 minutes or something. In addition, it just, they say that 30 minutes of physical activity is enough to offset an entire day of sitting and sitting on your desk. And I kind of feel like that's true as well. So it's kind of a way just to offset me sitting down for the whole hour. It's a way for me to just get that physical activity in and again, keep myself motivated. It allows me to do much longer streams. I don't get as hungry. I don't get as tired. I don't get headaches or anything. It helps me just keep going, in a way that I I haven't found anything else that does the same thing. So, and again, if it means a cringy 5 minutes at the top of every hour, fine, fair enough. Like I don't care that much. Okay. So the issue here is that we're probably doing a git index on histogram somewhere. So I must have also failed to change one of the histograms somewhere. We're going to histogram here, histogram output. Let's go up to the very top. Sorry. And let's just look for all the histograms. So here, histogram, let's call this histogram output as well, because the function is now called histogram. Okay, let's keep going. Histogram, well, that's fine. Histogram output, shared histogram should be fine. I think I just misnamed something is the thing here. Histogram values are shared histogram should be fine. Here it is, histogram TID. This needs to be histogram output TID. Perfect. Okay, so this should run then. So we're going to run Control D, Julia. We're going to run include, create the new input, run everything again, and just see what happens. But yeah, I do genuinely, man, I'm actually really happy we added the swoleios workout routine back. It's genuinely making this stream like way more enjoyable than it was than like yesterday or the day before's. Not that those streams were bad. It's just that I was super tired yesterday. Like I literally had to take a break after 2 hours of streaming because I was so incredibly tired, you know? But now it's like, I don't know, I feel like I could keep going forever. Bobo long milk tea. Babao long milk tea. Thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. All right, we're going to do some histogram input, histogram tag of the input. Okay, we got a segmentation fault again, which isn't great, but the code went further. So let's do Julia. How are we getting a segmentation fault? Let's see what's going on. So this must be a case where we're doing, oh, the shared histogram isn't big enough. That's why. Okay, because it's 128 values. So if we do, what's 128? Let's just do 128. All right. We do have 128 values, right? Should be. Yeah, it should be. Okay. Let's just see what happens when we write this. Go over here. We're going to do Control D, Julia, include. We're going to create the input again, and we're going to run it one more time, and this one should pass, I think. The issue is that we created a shared tile, and it just wasn't big enough to hold all the data. So let's do input over here. We're going to run histogram tag of input. Again, we're going to get the wrong answer, but this is going to give us values. Perfect. Okay, now this, I don't know if this is considered an error or not. I'm not going to consider this an error because Julia didn't say this is an error, but this output is wrong. Very wrong. So what we're going to try to do for the next 45 minutes or so is just get it to be correct. I know this sounds really lame, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to figure out what's going wrong with the histogram, figure out how to fix it. Okay. So what are we doing here? So first things first, we have a thread ID, which is going to be equal to global linear. So this is going to be going through all of our values that we're reading in. And again, we're trying to solve the problem. We're asking the question, how many ones do we have? How many twos? How many threes, fours, fives? How many of these numbers do we have? Then I created a local index, which is going to be going over the local scope and linear. So local index is basically going to be, if you have 32 threads, it's going to be 1 through 32. If you have 256 threads, it's going to be 1 to 256. So it's basically giving us our thread, our individual thread within a block. The thread ID up there gives us our thread on the total global variable. So if you have 1,000 items, this is going to be 1 through 1,000. Whereas the local ID is just going to go up to thread number. Okay. So we have this guy. I don't think we need this anymore. I think this is okay, since our shared histogram is now working. We're printing out all the local IDs. Let's figure out what we were doing with the local IDs in just a second. Again, I'm still trying to remind myself of what exactly we were trying to write with this code about a week ago, and then we can go from there. So to do anything but this, again, all I'm doing with this at this stage is transforming all of the shared histogram that we just created into zeros. Now, the truth is that this should probably be thread ID, not local ID. The reason I did local ID was because I was creating something on the GPU before where I had a huge number of, a huge local a number of local threads to work with. Here I don't have a huge number of local threads to work with because I'm on the CPU, so I only have at most 16, I think. HTOP, 16 cores that I can pull upon at any point in time. So it's not as useful. Let me get a little bit of water. 1 second, come on. Yeah, I really hope the kernel abstractions pull request gets fixed. Or merged in. Okay, and again, we'll do algorithm archive work in about an hour. 1 second, I have to check the notifications over here. Perfect. Oh, I get... okay, let's see, what do we have there? Let's see. Oh my gosh, I have to respond to the notification really quick. I'm so sorry. I still get notifications for the Summer of Math Exposition even though it's over. I just have to ask. Let's see. I'm gonna send a message. Okay. I just don't understand what the problem is. Discard changes. Okay. I have to do something. I'm so sorry. Let me just go ahead and get it done. Yeah. Shh. What? Oh. Alright, sorry, I have to send a notification. I just get so many messages about Summer Math Exposition. It's just a pain. Alright, let's just add this in to that. Perfect. Done. Okay, don't have to think about that anymore. I really should not have looked at my notifications, but I did because I just did. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's go back over here and let's get this kernel working. All right, let's go. And again, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, anything like that, feel free to let me know. NDF14685, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Okay, so what am I doing here? The first step right here is to basically set all of the shared histogram that I just created to 0. Now, the way this works is I have a set of values in global memory, this big group of numbers that I'm trying to sift through. And then I'm basically creating histogram on shared memory in order to hold the values. The reason I want it on shared memory is because essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be writing to this array non-continuously, right? I'll be looking at all the values in global memory continuously. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, all the numbers here. 1 second. I'm going to be looking at consecutively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm going to be writing non-consecutively. So to get over this this non-coalesced write, this non-consecutive write, I need to make sure that I do it on shared memory, which is much faster to access. So we do want it on shared memory. So we have if TID is less than length of histogram, so I set them all equal to 0, and then I @synchronize. What this is going to do is just pause everything to make sure that everything is 0, to make sure that the last execution was executed, the last thing was executed. At print here, I can remove that, and then say if TID is less than length of input, we say @inbounds shared histogram of input TID plus 1. So what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to go through all the thread IDs and say, look, if we're less than the length of the input, we're just going to say the shared histogram of input of TID is going to be plus equal to 1. So what we should see here is we should see that we go through all of the thread IDs, and we go through all of the thread IDs, and then we add 1 to all of the values in the shared histogram that have the input value. I'm doing this very poorly. So going through all the input, 3, 4, 6. So all we're saying is shared histogram of 3 is going to be plus 1. That's all we're doing. And then we do that for all of them. By the way, Anonymous Gifter, thank you so much for gifting a 1-month Tier 2 sub to Boring Accountant. Really appreciate that. Tier 2. Seriously. I'm going to put 2 Simula cows in chat for that one. Unfortunately, we don't have any extra emotes, except for the ones for Tier 1. I think maybe I should start adding a Tier 2 emote. If I did create a Tier 2 emote, what would you guys like it to be? I could have like a Ramboleos emote, I guess. I'm not really sure. So let me know what you guys are thinking for that. Maybe the algorithm archive logo, when it's finally decided, would become an emote, although I don't want that at tier 2. So maybe I do like a golden cow emote or something like that for tier 2, or like a silver cow for tier 2 and a gold cow for tier 3 or something like that. Although I will admit, the gold cow looks kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. But I think silver and gold would be good for that. Or maybe an inverted cow emote or something would be nice. Histogram emote. I don't know what a histogram emote would look like. Just like a bar graph or something. Okay. So here we say if TID is less than length of input, which is what we need. We then say at inbound shared histogram of input TID. So again, 3 plus 1, 2 plus 1. We at synchronize, and then we say if TID is less than the length of the histogram output, we're then going to do at inbounds of histogram output of TID. So we're then going through all the thread IDs. We're going through all the thread IDs, histogram output, and we should just set it equal to shared histogram, right? Let's do equal to here, and let's see if we can figure this out. So I'm going to write this, go over here, Control C, Control D, and let's go to Julia, include histograms, create a new input, and see what happens this time. I didn't change much with the kernel, but maybe I changed enough that it will work. I'm not sure. So input here. And now we're going to do histogram tag of input. Again, we're just trying to get the CPU version of this code to work. And it currently doesn't at all. Let me do using plots. Oh, this is such a pain. Using plots. And let's do histogram of input. And we're going to call this, what do I call it? Histogram output is going to be equal to histogram input. And now we want to do histogram tag histogram. We're going to call it kernel K output. Sure, is equal to that. It's great. They're not good names, but this is what we have. Okay, so we're going to do plot of histogram output. This is what we're looking to get, and now we're going to see what we actually got. I don't think there's going to be any similarity between the two. I just wanted to check. Okay, so now we're going to do plot exclamation mark histogram K out. Yep, that gave me no information whatsoever. So again, we wanted the blue line. Oh, come on. We wanted the blue line, but we got the orange line, which is not what we were looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't understand exactly. Let me take a look at these values then. Maybe we're going to take a look at the input of 1 to 6. This is going to be 113, which is going to be over here. 99, 105. I thought maybe these would be like the first 6, you know? Like the first 6 entries or something. Maybe I try to run this on just one core. Yeah, let's try running this on just one core and see what we get. Again, I'm just trying to debug it to figure out what's going on. So num cores here, we're going to run histogram tag again. But this time we're going to say histogram tag, and we're going to do num cores equals 1. Okay, so now let's try plot exclamation mark of K out again. Take a look here. So now we have the green line, and we see 2. So we have 2 here. That doesn't help at all either. This is genuinely unhelpful. Why do we get 2 peaks? I don't understand. So what I was guessing was, and of course this is a bad guess, but I was guessing that somehow each thread was only executing once, but somehow one thread is executing twice. I don't know. I'm going to run it one more time and see if at the very least it's consistent. So we're going to plot histogram K out, and we get, yes. So at the very least, we get the same output with 1 core. I will try 2 cores. I will try 2 cores, and we're going to try it again. Plot histogram K out. This is completely useless. We get, it's hard to see. I genuinely can't see. But it looks like we get 1, 2, and that's it. So it looks like 1 and 2 cores are the same. Okay, this isn't helpful at all in any way, shape, or form. All right, let's take a look at the kernel, see if we can figure this out. We are outputting all the thread IDs. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to print out all of the all of the input TIDs as we're going through, just to see what we're doing here. So here we're going to do @print of input of TID. Add an extra parentheses. We're going to do another include, and then we're just going to run histogram k out. We got an error. That's because I called it input with a T. Try it again. Add a push up, include, and then we're going to do histogram k out. Are you researching? Wait. Are you researching theory of Mandelbrot? No, I'm not. So the way this works is a bit different. So it's marginally a fractal. So fractal compression is the act of turning any image into a set of equations that closely approximates that image when put through a chaos game or an iterated function system. So it's the act of using methods that are known for generating fractals in order to compress any image. So you don't worry about self-similarity. You don't worry about the 1.2 dimensional space that is fractal space. None of that matters. All you care about is the functional creation of an image. Which is, is the idea. So it's not, it is fractal, but it's not as fractally as you might think. Okay, so this is interesting. Yeah, so this is interesting in that only LID1 is doing anything. All right, let me try more cores again. Let me try 6 cores. Let's go up and see what that did. Okay, yeah, only one core is doing anything. The other cores are doing absolutely nothing, which is weird. I don't fully understand why, but okay. Yeah, why is only one core doing anything? Maybe on the GPU this would be different, but at least on the CPU, only one core is doing something. Okay, totally fine. Not a big deal. Let's keep going. Even if only one core is doing something, the other issue is that it looks like... Let me try printing something else out. We're going to print this, and then I'm also going to print out a new line. Over here, we're going to do include histogram output here, and let's see what's happening. Okay, good. This is what I expected to see. Perfect. So I think what's happening... Okay, I understand now. It's not that one core is just doing everything. It's that we're doing the LID is step, and then we're synchronizing everything, and then we're doing this step next. So this is actually what we expect to see. My main issue with this is that for some reason, we're getting like 124, but it looks like histogram of 124 is not being updated. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this down here, and we're going to put a new tab here. And then I want to output the shared histogram just to make sure, oh, come on, just to output the shared histogram just to make sure that it's actually updating correctly. Okay, so over here we're going to do include, and then we're going to do histogram k out again, and we get, I need a new line. Okay, try it again, include, histogram out, let's see what we got. I really should have done that differently. Okay, let me just do this differently. 1 second. Yank paste. @print input. So we're going to say input. Input is here. Put a comma there. DT there. And now we're going to go down here and say shared histogram. How about histogram is this new line? And we're going to actually put a new line here as well. And we're going to put 2 new lines in here, because why not? Turn this into this. Turn that into that. Okay, over here we're going to do Control-C. Include histogram k out. See what we got. Ivan, the work you're doing in Algorithm Archive, very interesting. Encouragement with the work. Yeah, I'm glad you find it useful. We're slowly but surely getting through it. We are slowly getting through everything with it. It just takes time to make that kind of stuff. Okay, now this is quite interesting. This is very interesting. The histogram is 11535911793 when we had just set everything equal to 0. Does that mean that this isn't working correctly? That could be what that means. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, I'm not going to add the +1 here. I'm going to comment this out. All right, we're going to do, 1 second, include histogram k out. So now we're not adding anything to anybody. And yes, we see here that the histogram is remarkably high, even though I specifically made it so the shared histogram of each element, local ID, thread ID. Okay, let's try that again. Include histogram k out. So this should be a bunch of zeros. It's not. It's still not a bunch of zeros. Dang it. All right. Yeah, okay, so what's going on here? So shared histogram is length of histogram output. We're going to change this to shared histogram as well. I think this will work. It might not. Well, let's just set this to 128 because screw it. $$ 128. Again, this is not the efficient way to do this. This is just a way of doing it. Go over here. We're going to include histogram k out. And what I'm looking for is just a bunch of zeros. And we're not seeing a bunch of zeros. I'm not entirely sure why. So shared histogram is a size 128. So if the shared histogram is of size 128, we're going through and we're at inbounding. We're going through all the 128. Let me try changing this to int64 and see if that works. All right, we're going to do include histogram k out. int64 works. int64 works. Okay. That's super frustrating. This is printing out LID. Oh, you're right. This is also another problem. Thanks for that. That is so frustrating. Creating a shared histogram of type int32 doesn't seem to work. Okay, let's try this one more time. Right, let's go over here. We're gonna do, we're gonna have it int64 and see if this works. And now we're gonna go over here and do +1. Okay, and we're gonna do include histogram k out. They're all zeros, which isn't great, but at least the histogram count seems correct at this stage. By the way, thanks Shadow Misha, I corrected it. So if histogram output of TID is equal to shared histogram of TID, is this an issue with histogram output also being of type int32? Let me double check. Okay, let's try histogram output of being of type int64. Include histogram k out. I don't think that did anything. I think we're still in trouble. Dang. Okay, so we've got two issues then. The first, I don't know which one we want to tackle, but I think I want to tackle, let's just make everything int64 for now, and we'll tackle the int32 next time. Just have everything be int64 just to make sure everything works. 64. Sorry, look for 32. Here, so there's an int32, but it's commented out. Here is an int32. We're going to change this to int64. And I believe, yeah, that the only int32 now is commented out. So now we're going to do include. Oh, you know what might have been the issue? Wait. Maybe the issue was. Okay, let's just see what happens. K out here. No, it didn't. It's still broken. Okay. So let's just rethink what we're doing here. So what we're doing is we're saying that what we're doing is, oh, we still have the H histogram is this. Okay, never mind. We have it wrong. Okay. But again, let's just figure it out. So we're going through the first 128 thread IDs, and we're saying at inbounds, shared histogram of thread ID. There's only 128 of them, and we're setting them all equal to 0. Now, some of them are set equal to 0, but not all of them. Then what we do is at synchronize. After that, we go through. Let me try removing the +1. Oh, DD there. Let's go to include. And we're going to histogram k out. Let's double check. So here they're all 0. Let me do equals 1 instead of +1. And now we're going to do include histogram k out. And now they're all equal to 1. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to do plus equals 1. And this one's going to break. Yes, that one breaks. Okay, so why does that one break? Let me try something else. It's going to be equal to shared histogram of whatever it was before plus 1. I don't know why this would fix anything. I'm just kind of include histogram k out. This fixed it. Okay. So then we should have the shared histogram seems correct. I don't know why plus equals is a problem. Could it be an off by 1 error between input range and indices of the shared histogram? Where would the off by 1 error be coming from? I mean, it could be. I just don't know where they'd be coming from. So then we go through all the histogram output values of TID, and we say they're equal to the shared histogram. So for some reason, this step is not working, and I don't know why. Yeah, I don't fully know why. So at inbounds, histogram output of TID is going to be equal to shared histogram of TID. Julia's index from 0. If your input range is from 1 to 128, then you're off by 1. It's indexing 1. It's 1-based indexing, which I don't like, but it is what it is. You know, I actually prefer 0-based indexing for what it's worth. But you know, it is what it is. You can't win in every argument with every programming language, right? Okay. So, what is up with this line? So it looks like the shared histogram at least has values. So his is 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, actually, wait a minute. They are all 1. Let me try to figure this one out. Right, let's go over here. We're gonna include, and we're gonna try histogram k out again. And okay, they're all 1. I would have expected them to be more than 1. But I think because they're done in parallel, yeah, okay. Because they're done in parallel, we're getting the same issue we had before. Okay, right. That's why plus equals doesn't work. Because of the parallel issue that we were talking about before, my only question is, why does it do... Okay, I don't fully understand this though. Histogram k out. Why are they sometimes super high? Why? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do at inbounds. We're gonna say at inbounds. Temp is gonna be equal to this, and then we're gonna say is gonna be equal to temp plus 1. Okay, so we're gonna get a bunch of 1s is what we're gonna get here because we have not yet taken into account the parallelization. That's exactly what's happening here. It must be what's happening here. Because we have a bunch of things going on in parallel, it means that like a whole bunch of things are trying to write to the same location in memory at the same time. So we're gonna have to fix that issue. But right now I'm just trying to get a working kernel that outputs a bunch of 1s. That's it. I just want it to output a bunch of 1s. Let's go here. Let's run include. I'm gonna try it one more time. So what do we have here? The shared histogram is filled with a bunch of 1s, which is perfect. That's fine. So it's filled with a bunch of 1s, and I now want to try this again with only 1 core. And this should have, okay, now I don't understand why it's all 1s in this case. I really don't. Because this should be the iterative case and we shouldn't have any parallelization issues. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're moving on to the next step now, which is just outputting something. Right, oh, maybe I do understand. Wait a minute. Wait, let me think about this. Let me do using plots. And let's do plot, what did I call it? Histogram k out. No. Plot without the exclamation mark. There's nothing there. Okay, let me do sum of histogram k out. 0. It's exactly 0. There's nothing there. Okay, that's different than I thought it was going to be. What I was thinking was happening was that because we have 1 core, only 1 value could be output. Like, for example, if you have 6 cores, then 6 values can be output, or something like that. So let me change this back to a plus equals include, and now we're going to do histogram k out. I'm going to try sum of histogram still 0. It feels like this stuff before at synchronize is working, but not after. Well, right. So maybe, but the thing is, there's an at synchronize here as well, and this at synchronize is working. So I mean, we can only assume this one's working as well, you know. Yeah. So, what else could we do here? So the shared histogram seems to be correct, right? It looks like the shared histogram is correct. And we're saying if TID is less than the length of the histogram output, then we're going to say at inbounds, histogram output of TID is going to be plus equal to shared histogram of TID. So my naive, stupid question here is, let's output the histogram values. Write this. All right. We're going to do include, and we're going to do histogram k out. And we see hist is, but you know what we don't see? We don't see this print statement. We try it again just to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. Histogram k out. We don't see that print statement, which says to me that maybe our histogram output is not being properly allocated. So let me try a really stupid, I know it's stupid, but an at print here of length of histogram histogram output. I can't type. I'm sorry. 1 second. I think that'll do. And let me add a new line just for safety's sake. Come on. I can do this. Write this. We're going to do include histogram k. Okay, that's an error. Let's see. Undefined error, histogram out. Include histogram k out, and we get 128. It is a size 128. If TID is less than or equal to histogram output, let's print out the TID. Oh, let's print out the... Okay. I don't understand. Let's print out the TID as well. TID is TID. Okay, so we're going to do include, now we're going to do histogram k out, and here we see the LID is the TID is 512. That's totally fine. We should be able to go up high enough that... what if we just run with like only 128 values, right? Okay. Bah, such a pain. Huge pain. Okay. I think the issue is the if statement. For some reason, the TID... I think the issue is the if statement. I don't understand how, but let me just do the same thing here. So if TID is less than length of input, we do the following. This works. Length of input is... wait a minute. Let me try one more thing. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say if TID... we're just going to print something. 1 second. Okay, over here we have that written, I believe. Let's go to include. Let's do histogram k out, and let's see what's happening. Hist is histogram values. Yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna print out check, all caps. Oh, I'm an idiot. What? I don't understand exactly how this is happening. I probably should just put the new line at the end here. 1 second. If with histogram output you have less than or equal to would cause some issues. No, wait. The for if. What do you mean? Sorry. For if with histogram output you have less than or equal to would cause some issues, right? No. So what? I mean, what issues are you thinking about? Maybe I don't know what the issues are. So right now what should happen is we have thread. Let's say thread 1. It goes through, it's like it does all this stuff. It waits for all the threads to sync up. Thread 1 continues, waits for all the threads to sync up, and then it continues from there. What I'm afraid is that somehow thread 1 stops working after the @synchronize. I don't understand how that would happen. But let me just try commenting this out and commenting this out. I genuinely don't understand how this could happen. Include histogram k out. Do we have... No, of course, none of these are going to be checked. Okay, let me try one more thing. Because you're doing less than for the other if, but not in the last one. I mean, it should be fine. Less than or equal to length of it. Yeah, you're right. This should be less than or equal to. You're right. But that's like, yeah, that's an off by 1 error. Let me try changing things. So we're going to change input. Sorry. I'm going to change input really quick. So it goes only to 128 possible values. And now we're going to try histogram k out again. Right. Right. Okay. This is... There are some checks in here. And we have histogram values here. What is going on? So 127... Why do we have so many 127s? Look at all this. We have 127 here. And we have a bunch of them. So 127 should be the... So thread ID is 91. What's the 127? Oh, that's the size of... Yeah, that's the length of the histogram output. That's why. So we have the length of the histogram output. I'm sorry I'm doing some really crappy print line debugging. So if this goes through everything, as it should, there should be no problems here. But even though it does go through all of it, so let's go ahead and remove the @synchronizes. And we're going to do include. Now we're going to do histogram k out. Still doesn't work. So we see histogram is 1. Histogram is 1, right? 127. And this is histogram values are 0. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because we have histogram. What is going on? I mean, I can make this just write out. Let me try something else. Let me just try, instead of TID, we're going to do input of TID. All right, let's see what that does. Include histogram output, K out, and we should see histogram is... Oh, okay, we're getting back to this weird error where we have an incredibly high value. So we see histogram is, why are we getting the high value all of a sudden? Every length of histogram, maybe print TID. Yeah, I mean, we're already printing TID here. So, I mean, if you're worried about it being a synchronization error, I mean, it shouldn't be, but we can double check. I mean, the synchronize, it's not going to change your thread number, right? Include histogram k out. So here we see, there's the histogram, TID is 125, TID is 125. Oh, this is a pain, huge pain. Thanks, by the way. How are we getting, so histogram values are here. What? Histogram values are here, now it's 1. Wait, what? What? Histogram values are 1 now? Include histogram. What is going on? Okay, well, it's not working exactly. Does the @print push the string to the front? I don't, what do you mean push the string to the front exactly? Okay. So histogram values are 1, right? So that means down here, let's go ahead and modify this again. So we do this. And we do that. Now we're going to do include. We're going to do histogram k out. And here we're going to see all the histogram values are 0. Right? That's what we're going to see. So I don't understand why this is the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shared memory test again. So let's go into vi minimum working example.jl. Maybe I'm just not understanding how this works. So here's what we're going to do. We have thread ID is equal to this, shared tie is equal to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say this is going to be equal to A of TID, we're doing the same thing. We're saying if thread ID is less than or equal to the length of A, we're saying the shared tile of TID is going to be equal to A of TID. We're going to @synchronize, and then we're doing @inbounds of B of TID is equal to A of TID. It's the same exact call. It's literally the same output, and it works for this. Okay. Why? Control C, Control D, Julia. Let's go here, quit. Histograms.jl. Walk through it. So we have a TID. I'm going to just comment on all the local ID stuff because we don't need it. Genuinely don't need it. Comment that out. That's it, just those 2 comments. Okay, so we go through the thread ID, and basically we say, first 128 threads. You just set all of the shared histogram values to 0. Perfect, done. We @synchronize. We then say, okay, if your thread ID is less than the histogram output, again, less than 128, we're just gonna print check. Cool. Next thing, if thread ID is less than the length of the input, right? So that means the length of the string of values we're reading in. Again, this is 128 values. We're gonna do @inbounds temp is equal to shared histogram. We're gonna do temp plus 1. We're gonna have an error. This is definitely going to be an error where like we're getting a parallel write issue, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just trying to output anything right now. So we do CUDA@print, input is this, and the histogram is this. That should be fine. All of that's fine. So what I'm gonna go down here. So then we go down here and we say, if TID is less than the length of the histogram output, we say @print histogram values. So we print the histogram value at that stage. Now at this stage, we should have a bunch of 1s. Literally just a bunch of 1s. That's what we should have. But that's not what we're seeing. That's not what we're seeing. At all. But I'm not sure exactly why. So we create the shared histogram. Bunch of W's. we have a bunch of L's. We've lost. All of them are just L's, I guess. You know, win and lose. L. Okay, so we have @inbound histogram of TID is going to be plus equal to the shared histogram of TID. I mean, this should all be single core at this stage. I made it so it was all single core. Honestly, I would settle for having a single output now. So let's do include. And now we're going to do create the histogram. I'm going to use 2 cores. If we get 2 outputs, I'm happy. Are you initializing histogram output? Yeah, so histogram output is initialized here as a bunch of zeros, and we're reading them in. So it's being read in because we're mutating it in the end. So we're going to do histogram k out is equal to this. That is an error. Let's go ahead and do input is equal to that. Now we're going to do histogram k out again, and we're just going to do a sum of that. It's 1. Okay, so let's do 2 cores. We should get 2. 6 cores, and we're going to do sum of that. 6. Okay, wait. Okay, I think I see what's happening here. We do 1 set of executions. Okay, I think I see what's happening. We do 1 set of executions with 6 cores. This will go through, and essentially what it'll do is it will assign thread IDs for each of the 6 cores, and it will add 1 to each of the values in the shared histogram. Then what we do is we output it here. Now, the reason I have a plus equals is because let me do it a different way then. So let's do it the following way. What we're going to do is in here, okay, I see what I need to do. I need to go through each of the values. No, I don't see what I need to do. So we're going through each of the values of the histogram output, right? And we're just saying, okay, our shared histogram only works for 6 cores, right? So we're going to add those 6 ones. to our histogram output there. So we add the 6 ones to our histogram output, and then we do it again. And we should get 6 new ones, and we should add those, but for some reason they're not being added in, and that's what I'm confused about. We do at inbounds of histogram output TID. Okay, so just for the record, here's what I'm saying. We do one iteration of this loop thing with 6 cores. So there are 6 possible ones that we get. Then we should do histogram output plus equals here. So it should go through each of the values, and it should add either 0 or 1 depending on what's in the shared histogram. So here's what I'm going to do to verify that this is actually what's happening. I'm going to set it equal to instead of not plus equals to. I'm going to do include, and now we're going to do histogram k out. I'm going to do sum, and that's also equal to 6. So for some reason, there's no difference between equals and plus equals, which is weird to me. That is very weird to me. Okay, but we're getting there. You know, one step at a time, we're getting there. So histogram output of TID plus equals a shared histogram TID. Is that because there's not an at synchronized at the end of the kernel? I mean, there should be already. Include. Now we're going to do histogram k out. Sum is still 6. Okay, there's a plus equals to there. At synchronize should make it so all the threads are finished. You know, it could be that we're all writing the same location in memory, maybe, but that doesn't make any sense. So the 6 cores do their thing. The 6 cores do their thing. They add 1 to some random. Oh, right. I get it now. But, okay, wait. I got it. So those 6 cores do their thing. And they're going to be some TID in here. Okay, let me change this then. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say input of TID. It's going to be plus equal to shared histogram of input of TID here. This should at least allow us to output a bunch of 1s. Okay, we got a bunch of 1s. Look, this isn't quite correct. Oh, maybe it's correct. Well, not quite. Okay, but we got something out. Okay, so we learned a lot here. It's very hard for me to condense all the stuff that I learned, but I did learn a lot here. So let me go up to the to-do and let's update this. So first of all, dynamic shared memory allocation is not allowed, so use thread size or const. I'm going to keep that in there. Think about S vectors. Okay, let me do yank and paste. And let me just do $$ and say 6 dot. Okay, so we need a way to find a way to do a coalesce write to global memory. That's what I need to do. So essentially the issue here is that we had 6 threads that were acting at any given point in time. So those 6 threads worked over our histogram. Specifically the histogram and shared memory. So it set 6 values of our histogram and shared memory to 1. Great. And now what we needed to do is copy those ones over to over to global memory. Now the issue is in that copy, again, only 6 threads are working. So it's very unlikely that those 6 threads are actually grabbing the exact values of shared memory that we updated. So we have to find a way to make that coalesce. I think this is going to be easier on the GPU than the CPU. I'm just going to mention this. I think this will be easier on the GPU when more threads are available. All right, good. Okay, we have something that's kind of sort of running. I'm just going to go ahead and commit it. So let's do git add histograms.jl git commit -m adding simple skeleton for working code. And then we're just going to do all the shmem stuff tomorrow. So git push origin master, just so it's available for everyone. Okay, so this is going to be the last little mini workout of today. It looks like I've got a 1 minute, it says 3 minutes. I'm just going to do 1 minute arm hold. And then we're also going to do what looks to be 4 push-ups, and then we're going to do algorithm archive work for the rest of the stream. Again, I have a hard deadline at 6 that I have to leave for today, so I'm not going to be streaming past that time. And so if we only do 30 minutes of algorithm archive, that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and close it there. I've already been streaming for 3 hours, so I don't feel so bad. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do even longer streams, but we'll see. Okay, let me go ahead and make this smaller, default, move this down a little bit, and let's get going. So last mini workout of today's stream. I think what I should do is do what I did last time, where like I changed the music and everything. I'll do that next stream as well. I just didn't do that this stream because I spent a while trying to get the workout stuff started today anyway. Right, so give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, good to go. So it looks like I have 4 push-ups to do, and then I've got just a little bit of an arm hold. Again, the idea here is that we do just a little bit of a mini workout at the top of the hour, every hour, to get the blood flowing, to get us to focus on something that's not programming, so that we can then tackle the next hour just a little bit more efficiently than we did before. Again, I'm not requesting or asking you guys to do the same thing that I do, but I will be doing this, and I'm hoping it kind of motivates people to get up, stretch a little bit, walk around, do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do, just to, again, get the blood flowing. So I've got 4 push-ups, and I'm just gonna do 1 minute of the 3-minute arm hold. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So 4 push-ups. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, just 1 minute arm hold, and then we'll do algorithm archive work after this. So for the arm hold, I'm just gonna do, ooh, my watch is still ticking down from last time. Okay, so I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so for this, I'm just gonna have the arms out, and I'm just gonna do kind of like long, broad, circular motions. Ordinarily, you do the arm hold with some sort of weight, but I don't really have a weight today, so I'm just kind of doing it here. The idea is to kind of work your shoulders. Honestly, my shoulders used to be quite good, but recently they've been really bad because I haven't been swimming. Again, I'm gonna start swimming again more regularly. I've just been kind of out of it recently. So, all right, so it's been 30 seconds. I'm gonna rotate the other direction. And then again, just a minute, and we're gonna get back to programming. It's just a way for us to, work out, stretch, relax, get the blood flowing. And again, it really does help focus and, I don't know how to put it, but it really does help me, It really does help me, focus on stream and get more work done and be a little bit more excited and all of that. So even if it's 5 minutes, it's a little bit rough, it's okay. Okay, so that's it, just a minute. We're gonna do more, longer. We'll do the swoleios workout routine more rigorously next time. I just wanted to kind of get back into the habit today, and we're gonna start reincorporating it more regularly from now on. All right, I'll be right back, and then we'll get back to programming, specifically working on algorithm archive work. Okay, welcome back. So for the rest of the stream today, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but for the rest of the stream today, we're going to focus on the algorithm archive. So for those who may not have seen the algorithm archive before, although I do find it, again, it's kind of hard to be on the stream without hearing at least a little bit about the algorithm archive. Where is my, oh, I put it over there, didn't I? 1 second, I have to grab something. Okay, got it. I left my glove over there. Right. So, what is the Algorithm Archive? It is an online textbook that I'm writing with the community here, basically as a way to describe as many algorithms as possible in as many languages as possible. It is kind of different than Rosetta Code or a lot of the other works out there because we don't really. The code is important, but what we really focus on are the explanations of the algorithms. I lost focus. I should be in focus now, I hope. Let me check. Yeah, I'm in focus now. But what we really care about are the explanations of the algorithms, and the implementations just serve as a way for us to better understand the algorithms as a whole. Okay, let's go to github.com, and let's just start tackling some PRs and seeing what we can do. So one big thing is let's go to the algorithm archivist here, and I'm going to go to issues, and we're going to take a look at the logo design. So if you weren't here yesterday, we spent some time essentially creating a Google form for the logo design. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it now. These are just a bunch of test logos that we could do, and let me see how this is going. So I think I can look at, let me switch account. This one. Okay, which one did I create it under? This one? Okay. Wait, what's going on? Your email Google account not part of your response. I know what I need to do. I need to just go to Google Forms. I was like, wait, what's going on? Why don't I have results? I was just going to take a look at the results really quick. So go to Google Forms, see if we've gotten anyone to respond to it yet. Let me not call this. Okay, so we've got 11 responses, which is great. Most people like the Sierpinski-ish one, and there's a lot of results here. Good. Okay. Good. Okay, this is actually turning out really well. If you haven't already, feel free to take a look here. This should be the poll, I believe. Is that right? Wait, let me double check. It's missing the H. I don't know why every time I yank and paste, it misses the H. Let's go here. Let me double check to make sure this is actually what we want. HTTPS. Here. Yeah, I think that's correct. Let me just go up one. Up one, add the H there. I don't know why it always misses the H whenever I yank and paste. Okay, if you haven't already, feel free to go there, take a look at these logo designs, see which one you like the best, and then we'll kind of pick that at least as a temporary logo for now, and then go from there. I do actually quite like the bookshelf design as well, like looking at it, because it's kind of like a tesseract in a way. But anyway, point was just, yeah, see which one you like best. Okay, let's go to pull requests and just start working through a couple of them. Pull requests here. So we have 60 open pull requests, partial removal here. Let me see what we got. Henry AC looks fine to me. I guess if it looks fine to everyone, I think it's okay. I think Henry was here in chat earlier talking about this PR in particular. So I'm going to do files changed, double check, and then I think I might just squash and merge this guy just as a quick thing to get in. Okay. So we'll go ahead and merge this guy in right now. Just why not? It's simple enough. I don't think there's anything really major going on. So we're going to do squash and merge, user administrative rights, squash and merge. Perfect. Okay. The nice thing about this is that it removes. So what this PR was doing was it was taking. Back when the algorithm archive started, we didn't really know how to do reviews. We didn't really know what the best way was to implement different languages and stuff like that. Does it close the issue? I hope not. I don't think it does. This should still be open. Yeah, it's still open. Because I didn't say this fixes that. That's the keyword it's looking for. Okay, so essentially when we started the algorithm archive, we didn't know exactly how to deal with different languages, right? So some people gave us like a partial implementation of a MATLAB script, and we were like, okay, you give us a partial implementation of a MATLAB script, and we'll just fill in the rest of it with Julia or something. And that's what we did. But frankly, it just doesn't make that much sense. Nowadays, we really should have a full implementation of the different languages. So we're not removing the languages from the algorithm archive, we're just removing them from the algorithm archive chapters. So they still exist in the code repositories or the code folders or whatever they're called. What are they called? Directories. The code directories. It's just that the MD files no longer have them. I think all the checkboxes can be checked now. Can they? I don't think so, because we're still missing the implementations. So we're still missing MATLAB, LabVIEW, and Scratch. Those are still partially implemented. And then here, I don't think we have any of the tests implemented either. I mean, I can double check, but I don't think we do. So let me double check that. And let's go to the Cooley-Tukey method. Where are we? FFT. And then we're going to hop down to C++. I don't think we can check off any boxes. Unless this is now using FFTW and I just completely missed it. No, it's not. So it needs to be tested. I mean, we can add that in relatively easily. Maybe not C++. I don't understand how C++ works. But at least to C, we could add it in. Just add the FFTW library and stuff. This could make the scon's build script a little bit more annoying to do. But yeah, I mean, I ultimately need to update the entire FFT chapter. It was one of the first chapters that I wrote. There's a lot left to do there. Okay. Refresh here, and let's just knock out a couple of these. So add citation.cff. There was a little bit more discussion that happened here. I think it was with GA saying that he created his own ORCID for this, which is fine. Let's see if you want to use this resource, if you want to use this software. I think this is still going on, so I don't think there's much I can do about this. I didn't know it was the other way as well. Yeah, so there isn't much I can do with the citation.cff file, but I'm very interested in getting this kind of underway. I'm not sure exactly at what stage we should consider, submitting this to the Journal of Open Source Education and stuff like that. But, right now I feel like we're not ready. But what we could do is we could, try to get everything mostly ready by the end of the year, maybe. We'll see. So let's do issues, pull requests again here. And let's just see what we can actually fix here. So C# fix the out of range issue. I figure this can just be merged in, can't it? That basically resolved the merge. Is this good to go? I submitted the line to make it more consistent with examples of other languages. Okay. I guess, did LazyProp finish? Let's go and see what they said. Show outdated. It should be changed to that. Sure. Yesterday. So let's go ahead and take a look at the files changed here. I think this can just be merged in. I think 85 to 89. I just need to add libs equals ffTW3 because in clause in environment.c. Oh, okay, easy enough then. Let's not worry about that for now. But yeah, I guess what I need to do is double check to make sure that this. Yeah, I need to double check to make sure that the line numbers are actually correct. But outside of that, I think we can just merge this in, can't we? Unless I'm missing something. Let's go ahead and do commits here. Sorry, not commits, conversation. Citation.cff here. This PR fixes an issue with DFS recursive in-order binary method where would throw an out-of-range except if the tree child count is equal to 1. This PR also removes a couple of redundant this statements. Right. Note the first line of tree.cs is submitted by this. Okay. Oh, this is by Henry, by the way, who's in chat. Okay. So we're going to remove that line. I think that's fine. We change ID equals to 1. We do this.child add new. So where's the... How did the line numbers change? Okay, so remove this. Okay, I see. So then we added a bunch of lines here. Okay, right. Right, okay. And then we just have to double check to make sure these are the appropriate line numbers. So 6 to 10. Let me just take a look at this here. Also, what's the difference? This is me not knowing C#. We have tree.cs and we have program.cs. Oh, that must be just to get it to run, I guess. Okay, so here's this. So we wanted 6 to 10. 1 second. 6 to 10. Oh, 6 to 10 here. But it shouldn't be 6 to 12, or am I wrong? 1 second. 6 to 10 is going to grab these lines. These lines here. Let me see what we currently have in the algorithm archive for tree traversal. Struct node. So let's go to C#. Public class tree. That is actually kind of a weird set of lines, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Program.cs contains the entry point. So is that what you run when you're running C# code? Okay, this actually, I probably should not be doing a C# review. I just realized I know nothing about C#. I just thought this would be an easy merge because it's literally just changing a few lines. So we just double check to make sure that these line numbers are correct, and then that's all I have to do, I thought. Or should I wait until someone who knows more about CS does this to do this? Maybe that's the actual answer. Because honestly, I don't think I've ever run C# before in my life, now that I mentioned that. So, okay, let's... Okay, I'm going to say the following. I mean, here, it kind of makes sense. We have 3 cases, fine. I'm just going to say review changes. I'm going to say I approve of this. And then I'm going to say, let me just double check the line numbers. So 7 to 11, 6 to 10, 34 to 45, 33 to 44, should be fine. 47 to 58, 46 to 57, 68 to 79, 59 to 83. I think that's right. Let's go down, check 83. 81, 82, 83. Yep, seems fine. 85 to 98. Let's double check that one. 85 to 98. Where is it? It should be here. No, where is it? What? Where'd it go? 1 second. Running C# on Linux is not that easy, so we probably need to use the Docker file. Okay, that's fair. Let me do this guy. And we're going to look for 85 down here. Let me double check. This is from 85 to 98 and then 100 to 113. So 85 here to, I think it was 98. Perfect. And then 100 to 103, was it? Yeah, that. Perfect. I think this is all fine. So I'm just going to say, I think the line numbers are all correct. Actually, it should be 100 to 113. Yeah, 100 to 113. Yeah, right. So I think this is a straightforward change. And am happy to merge it. The line numbers seem fine. To do that, run docker build t AA length. Yeah, let's actually do the Docker file stuff now. Honestly, I suck at Docker. I suck at using Docker so much. So let's just work on that now. I'm gonna be honest, Nick. Please don't judge me. I had been trusting you a lot with the Docker file, so let's get it let's get it working. So we're gonna cd into projects, algorithm archive here, ls here, and let's just run docker build dot. Okay, so this is my question. So I run -t and then AA and then AA langs here. Dash. What does this do? Unable to evaluate symlinks in Docker path, lstat, Docker file, no such file or directory. Okay, that's fair. ls here, git branch, git checkout, master, git pull, upstream, master. Then docker run AA, pwd, wherever you want to mount. Okay, so right, ls here. Where are the? Let me try to get the Docker file working. Where is the Docker file actually? Is it in tools? Okay, so if I want to get this running, we do docker build, and then I'm looking for where the Docker file is. So let's just do tree dash, and the container that is, right? So we'll do tree. Oh wait, do I just do Docker first? No, I don't know how to do Docker at all. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna learn. That's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna learn how to use Docker. That's fine. Okay, so there should be a Docker file available somewhere, right? It's in the dev container. So if I do here, if I do docker build, and then I do that command here, can I connect to Docker daemon at Unix? Is a Docker daemon running? Okay. Did the stream die? Did it die? It doesn't look like it dropped any frames. One second. You log out and log in again? Oh, okay. So can I just reset? Okay, do I need to log out and log in of the entire desktop? Sorry, Nick. Alright. Or can I just log out and log in here by opening a new terminal? I guess I can't do the Docker stuff right now then. CD projects, algorithm archive, ls here. And now we're going to cd into .dev container, ls, and now we're just going to run docker. Dang it. Okay, we're just going to run this command. Okay, fine. And all the necessary daemons will be running. Okay, so then, yeah, maybe I just log out, log back in again. Let me check Docker on Arch just to see what happens. Docker Arch. Docker Arch Wiki. Docker info, Docker run. Install Docker package for the development version, the Docker Git version package. Next, start the docker.service and verify the question. Oh, okay, so I just start Docker service. That's fine. Sudo system ctl enable probably. Oh, let's just do start. Service. Okay, if I do Docker info. Okay, so it seems to be up. So let's go here and let's try Docker build T. Got permission denied. Oh, do I have to build it? -T AA links. I got permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker daemon socket at Unix this. Let's see, and necessary daemons will be running, or you can manually start the daemons if you like. Oh dear, that's going to take a long time to build. Do systemctl docker enable also. But okay, but what if I don't want it enabled? I just want it started. I'm kind of finicky about having daemons enabled. I kind of prefer them. I prefer just to start them manually if I can. Like cups, for example, I start that manually every time I want to print something. Sudo docker build? Yeah, I could try sudo. Well, I feel like, should I need sudo? Okay, this is me not knowing Docker, and I'm so sorry. I've used Docker a few times, but never like, do this, it's asking for permission. It's probably fine. All right, we'll just let it do its thing. How's everyone doing? This is good. I'm actually quite happy about this. So we're getting something built. This is great. Permission denied means you need sudo or enabling. Right. So my question was, should I add my user to Docker, or should I do it with sudo? That was my question. Yes, it interfaces directly with the kernel. Okay, fine. Let's do sudo then. That was my question. So my question was, would this work? Like, or do I specifically need sudo? Also, go do something else for a bit. Oh, okay. That's fair. I'll do something else for a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, and I'm just gonna go to C# here. The line number seemed fine. However, I'll wait a second to see if anyone who knows more C# has anything else to say. But better go for adding your user to the Docker group. But would that allow me to, like, obviously it doesn't allow me to circumvent sudo rights, but the question is, does that allow me to run the Docker command without invoking sudo, is my question. I don't think it does. I think I still need to use sudo, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, then maybe I should add it to the Docker group. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm happy to do that then. Let's go over here, Control D, do this, and oh, no. Does it need this? What is my user? Sorry, is this defined? Yes, it is defined, perfect. I'm just dumb. Okay, so now maybe that'll work. You won't need to use sudo. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Anything else to say? So I think it's a straightforward change, and I'm happy to merge it. The line numbers seem fine. I'll wait a second to see if anybody Who knows more C# has anything to say? But we'll otherwise merge this. Like what? Tomorrow? Maybe later this week is what I'll say. All right, I'm gonna submit the review. Just say, look, I approve it, but I'll otherwise merge it later this week. I mean, if anybody else wants, basically, I'm saying if anybody else wants to click the button who knows more C#, please do so. That's just, has anything to say before merging. If anybody... Alright, let's just approve that guy. I think it's fine. It looks good. The line numbers seem fine. I'll double check just to make sure, but it seems okay. Okay. We already took a look at the citation.cff file. Okay. Approximate counting in Java, iterative function systems in PowerShell. I just don't know who can actually review PowerShell is the problem. Monte Carlo and Crystal, or Crystal. Added Scon's compilation instructions. Let's see where this one's going. Scroll down to the bottom. Ooh, okay. I can't modify the Docker file in your branch. So can you swap the Docker file to this? What happens if we just update the branch? Then, oh, I see. Modify Docker file for Tyndall. Change name in contributors.md. Apparently forgotten an algorithm. Forgotten algorithm. That's fair. Okay. Is this still? Is Amaris in chat still? Is this something that we're ready to work on now? Like, how close are we to merging this guy? I want to test it, obviously. Apparently it's close because Leos decided. But I think it's close to the stage where we should be able to test it, right? This is the Scon's compilation methods. Okay, Stack and Q and Crystal, Scon's compilation still here. I think it's mergeable. Okay, you think it's mergeable? Let's test it out. See if we can see what we can do. Yeah, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna go over right. I'm gonna go over here and open up a new terminal. Make this huge. Go over here. I'm gonna have one more that's just here. Maybe move this up there. You can test it locally if you have libffdw3 installed. Yeah, let's just see what happens. So CD projects, algorithm archive, git branch. All right. Git check. Because I'm doing the build over here. Is that okay for me to do checkout and stuff like that? Or should I wait for this to finish? Because with this, it can't change the Docker file while I'm executing it, right? Like it must be fine. Okay, I'll let it keep going then. In that case, I might. Okay, we'll have to do this Scon stuff tomorrow then. That's totally fine. It's not a big deal. Let's just see if there's anything else I can do right now, because I might just wait for it to finish and then we come back to it. He has different versions of the file. Right. That's fair. That's totally fair. Euclidean algorithm, output standardization. Where was this one going? Is this done? Let me double check. Files changed. It's still a draft. I'm just going to ask if this is still a draft or what's left with this one. Let's go to conversation. Okay. This is still a draft, but is it close to being ready? I'm just going to ask. Okay, good. We're getting there, one step at a time. Okay, pull requests again. Stack and queue in Python. What do we have? See, the thing is, okay, we already have the review with Amaras. Perfect. Oh, multiple reviews. Ooh, okay. We're getting a bit angry here. No, we're not getting angry. When I say angry, that's not what I mean. I mean that sometimes a lot of people comment and like, it makes it sometimes the reviews come off as harsh when they're not meant to be harsh, you know? So anyway, I think this is fine. We'll let that one simmer a bit. And let's check some older PRs down here. Tree traversal in Ruby, Euclidean proof, and then we also have this guy in here, cryptography chapter. So the cryptography chapter I thought was mostly ready to go. I'll double check that later this week. Tree traversal in Ruby, where's this one going? Let's see. Sorry it took so long to get this one problem. I noticed that you're not executing DFS in order anywhere. Also, there should be proper labels printed in this case. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. So pull requests, and then we do Euclidean proof. What's going on with this one? Request your review of this pull request. This is where I just don't know enough to be able to say one thing or another. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this one. Okay. My issue with this one is I suck at proofs. That's my issue. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I don't really know how to do proofs at all, is the truth. Okay. Okay, so here's what I might do. I'm waiting on this to build. And okay, so right. We'll let this build. Like I said, you know, we did some algorithm archive work. We've been working on it for the past 30 minutes or so. I might close stream here. And the reason is just because, you know, waiting on this to build, we'll let it build. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll do the scones PR, and we'll do any other PRs that are sitting around. And then hopefully tomorrow for the algorithm archive work, I can actually start tackling the Euler method, which I created an issue about yesterday and fix that chapter with just a few small changes. It's going to take some time, maybe about an hour. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Channel points will be used for swoleios starting maybe tomorrow. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I was happy to add that in again. Honestly, I was quite surprised at how much more energy I had after doing just a little workout at the top of the hour. Look, I know a lot of people don't like that part. I can see the viewership. It dips every single time I do a workout, but at the same time, it really does help the motivation. So NVFX Corp, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. So the way I see it is screw it. If you know, people leave for 5 minutes at the top of every hour, it's okay. I really don't mind because the fact is I feel so much more energetic than I have for the entirety of the past like few weeks trying to do these longer streams. And I think that's the key. Just, you know, do things to keep yourself, you know, like engaged, to keep yourself awake. And my way of doing that is just to do, you know, a quick workout at the top of every hour. And that's what we'll do. So it's about to finish. Okay, let's just give it a second. Yeah, let me get some water. And then we'll try to do the scones PR now if it's almost done. Also, sorry, look, Nick, it's not your fault. Like, I really, really appreciate this. I just need to be very clear about that. This is me not knowing very much about, like, for example, this is incredibly useful for, like, the stuff that you were talking about earlier. Setting up the, like, an easy, like, kind of VS Code session that runs the algorithm archive. Macro Shell, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. One second. I got a notification. Okay, good. All right, perfect. So we'll give this a second, and then I'm just going to build the scones PR, make sure it works. I should have libffftw installed on my system. If not, I can install it. Let's just go ahead and make sure I do. Sudo pacman-ss fftw. I do. I have FFTW installed. It is FFTW3. Should be fine. So we'll try to run scones and see what happens. So, I mean, low-key, it is my fault for not optimizing it and publishing it yet. So it has to build from source every time. It's not a big deal. Like, honestly, totally fine. Okay, let's do the scones PR now while we are at it. Since, you know, we think it's basically ready to review. Oh, that's a kernel abstractions PR. Let me go down to the bottom, see if there's anything that's happened here. I don't expect anything to be updated, but I want to double check. Okay, pull requests. Let's go to scones. And let's get this guy merged in. Okay, scones. Okay, yeah, let's see what happens. So we have the files changed. I'm so sorry, I have the hiccups. And I'm gonna scroll down. grab the branch here. I don't know if I need to update it exactly. That's okay. Let's just grab this guy. Okay. And let's see what happens. Bam. Done. Okay. Right, quit. So how exactly does this work? Let me see. So if I want to build this, what is the best way? Scroll up to the top. As per 691, we now have the first draft of what the build system would look like. It's definitely not good yet. A few algorithms don't work yet. Only C instructions have been provided. So if I want to build all the algorithms, what is the easiest way to do that? Shadomisha, there's an issue. Okay. What does this add? Let's just kind of figure this out. Files changed. This goes through, adds stuff to the Docker file, so we can rebuild the Docker file. That's one thing we can do. Okay, that's fine. sconscript. So if I just run, what command do I want to run to get this to run? We have all of these here, and they all have sconscript files, which is great. So do I go to each code directory? So if I just run scons? Oh, now that's nice. I like that. Let's go into CD, CD contents, Verlay integration, ls here, CD code, C, ls, a.out, remove a.out. All right, let's try it one more time. CD back, scons. Okay. Don't worry about rebuilding. ls here. So that means actually, where does it actually put all the data? I don't think it puts it there. I think it puts it, done building the sconscript files. So where are all the executables? So we're going to cd into build maybe? cd into C. All right. Now we do /verlay. Okay. Look, that's nice. I like that. You can still do it locally, but everything's done by scons. That's super nice. Big fan of that one. Really big fan of that one. A lot bigger of a fan of that one than I thought I would be. All right, let's review changes. Approve. Big fan of this one. Cool. This, yeah, it's nice. So, okay, and you tested the Docker file. Perfect. Good, good. Builds on my machine. Happy with it. Let's go ahead and get this done. Nice. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. Okay, good. Both the scons and the Docker file are super good, like, steps forward. Like again, I suck with Docker, but I understand the utility of it, you know, before merging. Hey, Prutz, how are you? And clean everything, run scons C. Add that to the git ignore. Before merging, add the build directory to the git ignore. ls here. Yeah, ls build. Yeah, okay. ls build. C, yeah, okay. What's the best way to do that? I guess I can push directly to the branch, can't I? Right, yeah, we should definitely add that to the git ignore. Amrest, do you want to do that? If you're ready to do it, you can do it now. Otherwise, I can do it right now. Oh, you did that normally? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's there. Perfect. Okay. So I'm happy with that. If there's anything else to think of, okay, then we're good to go. Happy to merge this. Go ahead, submit review. Whew. Super excited. All right. I'm gonna wait for anyone in chat to say there's anything wrong with it. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and press the merge button. Give me a second. Oh, it's way cooler than I thought it was, by the way. Like, I was like, oh, okay, but you still have to... No, but like literally just builds everything at once. It's quite smooth. It's quite quick. Sure, we have to build all the executables at once, but like if you want to do local building, you can still cd into that directory and run it locally. It's fine. All right, squash and merge. Am I not an approving? Did I not approve? Wait a minute. What's the issue? Is it because it's not up to date? Should I update the branch first? Okay. Right, so we'll let it build. Did I screw up? I must have screwed up. I'm so sorry. Nick said no. Now I'm up. I'm screwed up. Or was it the fact that I didn't update and that's why? All right, we're gonna let it rebuild. Review. What's your way of merging? So yeah, we just have to have one approval before merging. So I'm double checking. Did I not submit the review? No, the review submitted right here. It says approval changes 41 seconds ago. Happy to merge this. And then we're just waiting on this to build. Then I think it's good. Once this is built. Oh, but now I didn't. I clicked. So you're saying no to the admin button. Okay. Right. I don't like doing the admin privileges unless. Right. Yeah. Totally fair. I understand that everyone's a bit delayed. I mean, merge, commit, or squash, or rebase. I usually just squash. If I'm doing it for myself, I rebase. But I don't. I don't require everyone who's submitting to the algorithm archive to. I don't require them to rebase. I usually squash and merge. Admittedly, I should keep the history a bit cleaner. I should put a specific title on each squash and merge commit. But I don't. Let me check the details here. I don't know why it's taking. I don't remember how long it takes. But I think it takes a while. Checkout. It's on install and build. Can I look at it as it's going? Anyway, we'll give it a second to do the build. I don't think it should take too long. I don't remember how long it takes. I think it might be up to 5 minutes. I picked up my new overpriced dev laptop today. Oh, what was it? I've been thinking about. I know everyone's been thinking about this one. But what is it? What is it? It's called Framework. I have been thinking about getting a Framework laptop. Been thinking about it. 14-inch MacBook. Yeah. So the new MacBooks look good as well. But I've been thinking about getting one of these. I mean, look, I'm actually one of the people that opens my laptop all the time. I genuinely do. I've switched hard drives. I opened it up to clean it. I do a lot of stuff. So having a laptop that's meant to be opened up it's quite it's up there on the list of things that I'm happy about. It looks clean. I'm happy with it, honestly. It's just that my Lenovo ThinkPad X240S that's only available in Japan for 1 year and then was discontinued from there. It's still up and running. It's been running for 6 years, and it's kind of like, I'm not going to get rid of my computer. It's fine. It's still running. There's nothing wrong with it. So I figure let's just keep it. I'm not going to buy a new laptop when I have a working laptop. Same with my computer. I'm not going to buy a new computer. It's fine. I don't know what witchcraft Apple did to their CPU, but it runs compiled Rust code 50% faster than my main desktop workstation. Oh, that's interesting. Plopag, hey, how are you? So with the M1 MacBook, I mean, I hear it's quite good. Honestly, my wife has one, and I recognize that there's still a lot of software that doesn't work. But at the same time, man, it's something special, honestly. I mean, we had all this discussion between Windows and Linux, but quite frankly, Mac is kind of stealing the show, and I don't mind Mac. I actually kind of like the Mac operating system. Do I like the Mac company? Do I like Apple? No, but the operating system's nice. I don't like the fact that it's virtually unfixable, but if you want a complete package that works for a dev environment, that lets you use Microsoft Word and also all the Unix terminals, I don't know. It's nice. I have to say it's nice. It's reduced instruction set and parallelized pipelines built into ARM. Right. Framework is perfect for a Linux user, to be honest. Very fine. Happy to see some Framework laptop. Can't wait for them to come to Europe. Right. They're currently not available in Europe, which is one reason why I don't have one. But also, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. How's the build going? Still waiting. That's fine. Yeah, so I guess I'll just wait for this to finish building. My main pain point is using Microsoft Word, because the further up my job I get, the more documents I need to write. That's fair, and everyone still uses Word, right? I mean, that was my issue with Japan. Everyone used Word because it has good Japanese character recognition and stuff like that, and so it was kind of a pain to use Linux in Japan, because everyone was sending me Word documents all the time. Mac is good for developer. How about Linux? Don't tiny incompatibilities crop up all over the place? I don't know what you're getting at, Prutz, exactly, so I don't know where to take the conversation, but clearly I'm a Linux supporter. Like, Linux is my favorite operating system by far. I can talk day in and day out about how much I love Linux, but I'm saying for a complete overall package, I think Mac provides a really good one. Lots of developers use Mac. To be honest, Mac and Linux are pretty much interchangeable for dev work, for the most part. Now, I will 100% admit that the package management on Mac is it's not as great as a package management on Linux. If you really want to get technical, there's going to be a lot of issues where it's just kind of a bit annoying to like install, proper code libraries on Mac. Like, I don't remember what it's called, but like they have their developer edition or whatever. I remember the icon. I don't remember what it looks like or what it's actually called. But yeah, it's kind of a pain to set up stuff, but it's fine. Once it's set up, it's fine. It's way easier than on Windows where, it takes 4 hours to install HDF5 for Python and you end up giving up, like it's, you got your Unix terminal, it's fine. So Linux is number 1, Mac is number 2. I don't know what's number 3, 4, and 5, but Windows is 6th for me in terms of like usability for dev work, or the work that I do in particular. Again, work that I do, and usability for stuff that I'm interested in. Like that's what I mean. And I hate this. I hate always going back to this argument about this is better than that, that's better than that. I need to stop doing that. Okay, so this is done. Fix to allow here. Add a scones compilation. So this looks good to go. I'm going to click the squash and merge button. Squash and merge. Let's go. And it's done. We have it. Oh, there's so much work went into that. Thank you so much, Amoress. That's super nice. Again, thanks for obviously there's been a lot of work put into a lot of these PRs recently, and it's been showing. Like it's really, really quite nice. We're really bringing the algorithm archive into the modern era of computing. But I believe this is where we're going to call it for today. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours, 40 minutes, almost 4 hours. So I'm going to call it for now. Let's see. Is there someone we want to raid at the end of stream? We can raid Tim at the end of stream. That sounds fine. Let's go and start that raid on Tim. But that is it for today. We'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll fix up the Euler method in the algorithm archive, and hopefully we'll finally get this histogram method up and running. I'm more excited for that than I should be, but I'm actually incredibly excited for it. Okay, so that's it for now. Let's start the raid on Tim. Raid Tim Baudet. That is it for now, guys. It has not been a lot of work yet using the built-in scones primitives. That's fair. But seriously, thank you guys so much for all the help, all the work here, hanging out, all that kind of stuff. And commendable pronunciation of Euler. I think that's right, isn't it? Anyway, thanks guys for coming in. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to be your time. And I'll see you guys around next time for the next episode of swoleios. Should be a long stream now that we have the swoleios workout program working again. Honestly, should be able to do like 7 hours without too much trouble. No, I don't want to become famous. Thanks for asking though. See you guys. Have a great day.